Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening to you. My name is Dave Scott. We are Spaced Out Radio, and here for another great night of information for you. Paisley Town, psychic, numerologist, tarot card reader, and fantastic hair will be joining us momentarily for all of you. Dirty Filth is here with another fantastic cartoon that he's going to draw. And the best part about tonight, we have all of you, including Race Fan in the gold medal position, Laura Lobbs with the silver, Robert Lamoth taking home the bronze medal tonight, Tim Mothman and his goatee are hanging on out, Kurt M, Dogface Simon, good to have you all here, Brown Dwarf, T-Bone, Gizmo, Joe Zuniga, how you doing? And Kevin, thank you all for joining us. Free Your Mind, how are you? Human Carl is here, a great veteran of the United States Air Force. Thank you for your service, Human Carl. We love you around here. Kathy Evans, how's it going? Kathy Evans will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Griff, what's going on? Dogface Simon, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. T-Bone, how you doing? Thank you for that lovely Super Chat as well. Very much appreciate your Canadian love and support. Thank you so much. Zed Hut, how you doing, man? Good to see you again. And who else do we have in the chat room? Mr. Cowley, welcome back to the show. Oh, Mr. Cowley loves his Spaced Out Radio. Millennium, my man. Dewey Cheatham and how you guys doing? Jessica S. D. Cohen, Richard Elmore, Little Cam on Twitch. How you doing? Nikki in Seattle, just another guy named Harry, and Nina Williams. Thank you all for coming on in. Little Timmy Senor is in the chat room. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. Nick Adkins, what's happening? Dirty Filth in the chat. Lee the Bee and Jadon, what's going on? Good morning, Commonwealth Andrew. Badass Billy Gunn is here. The Badass will be signing autographs after the show as well. Light up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Let's move on here, shall we? Bigfoot Michigan Rob, what's happening, buddy? Another great veteran, Marine Black Dragon. Thank you so much for your service, my friend. We appreciate you being here. Pam Harris, what's going on? And there's Pixie Lara and her beautiful purple hair. Let's continue on with roll call. Philip Baca, good to see you. Jenny White Bear, we love you. And who else do we have? Holy cow, there she is. Amy, Vegas. Oh, you're stunning, my friend. Just stunning. Stargazer, what's going on? And thank you for joining us. Bonjour, Pascal. Comment ça va? Merci beaucoup pour... I was going to say for your love, my friend. Thank you. We love you. Let's see here. I know you're laughing at me right now, just shaking your head and saying, shut up, Dave. Shut up. All right, moving on. Jay Burke, thanks for coming on in. Welsh Hammer, good to see you again. Stevie Franchise, what's happening, my man? Good to have you. Ivan 007, good to see you, my man. And, oh, I'm so embarrassed about Pascal now. Joanne Yoda Girl, welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Michael Fontaine. Let's get the radio side started, shall we? So we can get Bill WD-40 in there to lube us up for tonight's show. Reminder, May 10th through 12th, Reno, Nevada, at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort. We are having our 3rd annual fan party. We invite all of you to join us. We're going to have a schedule written out here very soon. And Neil Warden, how you doing? Good to see you. And we want all of you there. Everybody is invited. Everyone. So we want to see you there. All right, you can join the SOR Space Travelers Club by going to Patreon. The link is in the description below if you are on YouTube. And there's Bill WD-40. Whew. Good to have him here. And remember, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. We have stuff that you will actually want to wear. It's nice stuff. So make sure you go shopping there today because Christmas is coming. Believe it or not, it is. Hello, A. Brock. Hey, Word Oneist. And you know what? We're going to get going here in just a second. So I need you all to do me a favor. Get those horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Space Travelers Club on Patreon. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a great show of serious woo tonight. Psychic, intuitive, tarot card reader, numerologist Paisley Town is with us. She'll be here momentarily. Then in hour number 3, Among the Missing with Steve Stockton kicks things off. Robin Haynes will be here for the Cryptid Report. I've got the Dave 101, and it's the weird news of the week. It's going to be weird tonight. Paisley Town is a Vancouver, British Columbia-based intuitive psychic reader of psychometry, tarot, and numerology. She's also a mentor to many students who have tutored under her. Growing up in southern Ontario, she always felt various unexplainable tugs and an affinity for stones, shells, crystals, and other inert forms that nonetheless teemed with life and structure. It was in the mid-90s when living in North Vancouver that she was drawn to begin her metaphysical training. While trained in the metaphysical and the mystical and psychic arts, it was when she was introduced to psychometry, which is sensing associations from personal objects, in her case, mostly metal objects such as jewellery, keys, or belt buckles, that her intuitive compass pointed north. As she developed facility into her intuition, other pieces of her own personal puzzle began to fall into place. I love this woman. She is one of my good friends and longest friends in this field. Paisley Town, thank you for coming back on Spaced Out Radio, my friend. How are you?
Dave, thank you for having me. I'm doing excellent tonight. You sound awesome too.
Well, I'm trying to sound awesome and positive, but you know what's right around the corner, Paisley?
Halloween?
No. Well, yes, you are correct.
I don't know what is pending that is bothering you, Dave.
Snow on Monday.
Well, I just have one thing to say about that. At
Snow
least it's not fires.
I agree, but
Snow
you know what?
is better than forest fires.
I agree. I fully agree with you. I'm not arguing that, but I'm never ready for the snow. It just shows up and then it doesn't leave. It's like Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon's Vacation, where it
Yes.
just doesn't leave until April. And I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not
Well,
looking forward to that at all.
you can jump on the highway and come down and see us because we don't always have snow here.
Yeah, but you got the rain down there, and I'll take the snow over the rain. No offense, I really will. But we were in Vancouver for Guns N' Roses earlier this week, and I could tell you that driving through the torrential rainstorm that we had to
Yes.
drive through on the highway on Monday,
Right.
driving at about less than 10 miles an hour, I don't miss that. I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, it's been crazy. We've had a little bit of flooding and some issues with too much rain lately.
Mhm.
But I heard that Guns N' Roses is playing in Edmonton tonight because a band that I follow called Ghost Hounds, the Ghost Hounds band is warming up for Guns N' Roses
Nice.
tonight in Edmonton. So
I love it. I love it. Yes, I wish I could have traveled east to go see that show, but didn't make it. Had radio to do and other work things that I had to take care of. But nonetheless, you and I have been friends for about 7, 8 long years now, and maybe even longer. Now that
8
I think
long years. It sounds like we've
8
been
long,
friends too long.
we've been friends too long, and I'm going to be honest with you. I still don't know what the hell numerology is after all this time, and you've broken it down for me so many times. But let's learn a little bit about you because it's been a long time since you've been on this show, and we've obviously expanded our incredible audience. And so let's learn a little bit about you here. This is something you grew into. This is something that it took you a little bit to find your path into
Yes.
the psychic intuitive ways. Why did it take it that long? Wasn't it something that popped up when you were a kid?
It did come up for me when I was around 3 years old. I started predicting things when I was 3, and I don't have any recollection. I'm just listening to stories my mom told me when I was in my 20s. But when I spoke about things that got shut down, couldn't be psychic in my household. My family is very superstitious, and so they wouldn't have it. So I growed up a little bit, and I moved from the Windsor, Detroit area. I grew up partly in 313 in Michigan and partly in Windsor because I had family on both sides of the border. And when I had worked in Windsor long enough to not find employment, I moved to Toronto, and I started being more comfortable with myself so that I didn't have to, listen to everything my family wanted me to do and be and say. So then I moved to Vancouver, British Columbia, about 3,000 miles away from my family. And that helped me to explore more things about crystals and psychic stuff. And mind you, when I lived in Windsor and Detroit, I did go to some body, mind, and spirit festivals in Detroit because I remember one particular time when I was trying to cross the border. I was bringing back some crystals, and the border guard was giving me a pretty hard time about buying rocks. Yeah.
Well, considering you like to buy rocks and pretty rocks and rocks that may have powers and feeling in them. When you started on this path, never mind the rocks, but when you started on this path, how did you know that it was something that you needed to do for your own mind, body, soul?
It's the only thing I've ever done in my life where instantly I felt, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. All along, like searching and not feeling it and trying this and trying that and just not having a jive. It's the minute I tried psychometry in a classroom, like a 101 kind of beginner's psychic classroom for psychic development, the first time I tried it, within 2 minutes, I knew, hey, this is what I'm going to do for a living.
What was strong about it? What was the pull? What was the thrill of it all?
It was for me that I'm a little bit lazy, Dave. For me, it was that when I was asked to do it, when I was asked to hold on to an object and use my hands to read the energy from the object, it was so simple and it just made sense to me. And it felt like I had always been doing it. Like the first time I did it, it was familiar to me. It was just a huge draw. I remember, the day that it happened. It was around 2003.
And what was your awakening?
Just this is amazing. We have so much potential here. If we can read the energy from things, we can read the energy from people. When I was a little girl, I remember thinking, oh man, why do we have to go to the doctors and like wait for the doctor to like take a test and wait for the test to come back? Like, why can't we just put our hand on the doctor's arm? And why can't the doctor just know what's going on with us? And if you think like nowadays with remote healing and Reiki and all this kind of energy work, we do that a lot now. We rely on a lot of these things for information.
Okay, so when you started getting in touch with yourself, your mind, body, soul, and realized that you had these intuitive abilities, how long did it take you to hone your skills? How long did it take you to feel comfortable enough that it wasn't imagination that was popping into your head, or while you were reading tarot cards or numbers, it was actual messages?
Well, I'll be honest, sometimes still now, I doubt information that comes through from spirit for me. And I'll give you an excellent example. Thursday night, I was at the Rio Theater. I might tell you a little bit more about that later, but and I got this strong feeling that someone in the audience was gonna faint and pass out. And I knew it wasn't going to be like any of the cast or the crew. I felt like it was like a guest that was coming there, and nothing happened. I told the owner of the theater show, and I said, just maybe mention it to one of the first aid people because somebody's going to just drop. And I said, like, we're not going to need an ambulance. It's just someone's going to faint. And they were like, okay. So Saturday night, I was at a different event that I was participating in as a psychic, and somebody fainted at the end of the night. A guest came, they were taking a tour, and they passed out.
So right time or right inclination, but wrong time.
Yes, but within like Thursday to Saturday, like, and I've never had a prediction that something was going to happen like that before. I do lots of events, right? I go to conferences and events, and I teach and I do public speaking, but I've never told someone, hey, something's going to happen. So I'm always doubting myself.
Okay, so what do you go through when that happens? What goes through your mind? Because you want to be as credible as possible. You don't want to be one of these panic attack type of people that are filled in the paranormal, supernatural world. You're somebody who takes pride in your own personal credibility regarding the phenomena and this subject. So how hard is it for somebody like you not to take it personally when something goes awry on a timeline like this?
Yeah. So the thing about psychic information is that we can sense or feel or know, or all of the above, or hear information, but we can't see. It's kind of like, when you're trying to get into quantum physics, but we can't see if it happened a long time ago or if it's happening now or if it's going to happen tomorrow. We just see the information. We just hear the message or see the information or feel the information. So when the show was over and nobody fainted, I was like, oh, great. Whew. No problem. I'm glad nobody fainted. I was relieved and I let it go. I dropped it, but I wrote it down. And that's something I always ask my students to do when you get what I call that a hit. When you get a hit from spirit, you should write it down and keep a record of it, because this is part of the training that I teach people, is that in North America, especially when we go to school, they teach us to use our logic part of our brain. So they tell us, right now we're going to do art, right now we're going to do recess, right now we're going to do lunch. Oh, the bell rang, lunchtime, everyone's going to eat now. It doesn't matter if you're hungry or not, we're eating now. This is what we're doing. So it's like you don't get a choice of, resting when you're tired or eating when you're hungry. It's like they teach us how to learn, but they kind of teach us wrong, in my opinion. That's what I've learned doing psychic work, is like, nowadays, if I'm tired, I go have a nap. And if I'm not hungry, then I skip eating. And if I'm hungry, I might eat 4 meals a day. I just do what I need, right? So
Right.
the idea is that we have information inside of us. We have knowledge and information inside of us, but our school systems, the way they're set up in North America, they teach us to go outside of ourselves to search for the answer. Like, if you want to know something, you go to the doctor, or you go to the lawyer, or you go to the counselor, or you go to the library, or you go to Wikipedia, or you go to Google. I call this the 7 directions. Have you ever heard of that before, Dave?
No, fill me in.
So the cardinal directions are north and south and east and west. Everybody knows those 4. And I'm going to invite, if anybody's in the chat room that you're checking out, Dave, if they know the 7 directions, I'm going to invite them right now to type them in before I say them. So we'll see.
Well, we can't pause though, because we do have the radio.
That's
side.
okay. Yeah, that's fine. So north, south, east, and west, and then above and below, like sky energy or spirit energy, and earth energy, which is what grounds us all. And the 7th direction is within. So instead of going outside of ourselves, we should be asking ourselves first, do I know what I need? Which is a very different question than, do I know what I want? But sometimes we already have the knowledge. If you think about people that are really intuitive and there's an emergency, they just do exactly what's needed without thinking about what they're doing. And then later, after the trauma's over, or the accident's over, or the emergency is finished, then they kind of like fall apart or melt down a little bit. But intuitive people just know, without the training, without the first aid knowledge, without the whatever it is.
So is it instinct? Is it something that we even know? Because, I mean, you hear all of these stories of people all of a sudden developing superhuman powers, strength, mind. I mean, I know we have a family story. My cousin's dad, this going back probably 10, 15 years ago, but they had a farmyard, and right across their farm was their friends, and they heard the wife screaming. So he ran over there, and what he saw was the tractor rolled over her husband, and he was caught underneath the back wheel of this tractor. He ran over there. He lifted the tractor up by himself. Now, we're not talking a little John Deere lawnmower here. We're talking a big farm tractor that he was able, not one of them, double-wheeled ones, but a good-sized tractor that he lifted up that wheel on his own. And we're talking at this point, he's probably 55, 58, 60 years old when he did this. And it was like nothing for him. I mean, is this kind of, that's a outrageous example, but the body, mind, and soul has powers that we're not even conscious of. We can't even think of or imagine. Is this kind of the same area where everything comes from?
I think you'd have to ask the guy that picked up the tractor, but I feel like instinct and intuition kind of go together, because sometimes when I watch my students come up with information or come up with words, and a good example is when I used to be on your show. I was on Sunday nights for about 2.5 years on Spaced Out Radio, and we did the show Two Mediums and a Large, and I was one of the psychics on that show. And the other lady was Joanna the Medium. She's changed her name now. She goes by Joanna the Healer now. She used to, when she was giving a reading on air, she used to come up with words that she couldn't pronounce. And she'd start to say the word and she'd say, what is it again? And like she'd talk to spirit, like to the side, and come back and then say these words that she did not know the definition of. She's English is not her first language, but she would say words in English that she didn't know. Like, is that instinct? Like, where is she getting that from? It's a good question, Dave.
I'm thinking. Okay, so the idea behind all of this is is it the power of the mind that's speaking? Is it the power of the soul? It has to be more than just intuition.
Well, I feel like it's two parts of the brain. Yeah, I feel like it's almost the unconscious part of the brain. It's not the logic, it's the other stuff. So when I'm tired, or if I have like a headache, or I don't feel good, or if I'm grieving, for example, and I have a client, my readings are even better than usual because I'm not thinking about it. I'm being distracted by, let's say, a headache or something like that. So.
Okay. 2 minutes ago, before we have to go to break here at the bottom of the hour, Paisley Town is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Consciousness is said to be everything. It's said to be everything that is around us. It's said to be everything that we're made of. Are you in tune with your own consciousness and your own conscious being, or is that still something that you are working on personally as a professional?
That's an awesome question. I think for me, I feel like I'm a very conscious person. I have a member of my family who I am closely related to that I call an unconscious person, and they like walk and talk and work and thrive, but so much they miss. So much they don't hear, they don't see, they don't feel, they don't get.
Explain that. What do you mean by that?
Well, the other day I was at an intersection near Coquitlam Center. It's like 8 lanes across in all directions. And some people were crossing the street, like playing on their phone. And I was coming towards, and it turned yellow to stop for the red. And I thought, if I hit her with my car, she won't be able to know who hit her because she's playing with her phone. She's just in the zone. She's not present. I can't even believe she can walk by herself across the street.
How, what, that's actually a good question to lead on this, and maybe we'll have to take the answer after the next half hour. But with technology, with AI, with everybody having, a phone, a computer, and everything in the palm of their hands, are we seeing a decline in people understanding or finding themselves because they keep trying to find themselves on Instagram or TikTok?
I think Instagram and TikTok, due to the plague, I'm going to call it the plague, have been instrumental in people getting in nature. If trees had Wi-Fi, we'd be rocking.
Hold that thought. Paisley Town, psychic intuitive, tarot card reader, numerologist out of Vancouver, British Columbia, joins us here on Spaced Out Radio, second half hour. We'll get the finalization of that answer right after this. All right, we're clear. Remember, our YouTube audience can hear us.
Awesome. It looks like Pascal had a comment up on the screen for a second there.
Yes, Pascal having a comment.
I know Pascal.
I love Pascal.
He
I want
has great intuition.
Pascal is literally the
He's the bomb.
Outside of my family. Pascal and Samantha Mowat are the two most important people in my life.
I've met Pascal lots of times.
Pascal is an absolute gem.
He is.
He is a gem of a human being. And I wish everybody had a Pascal on their speed dial, because he is golden.
Awesome.
He is golden. He needs to figure out immortality, because he needs to live forever to keep helping people. Hi, Avi May. Yes, including you, Kim Jellin. Including you. Kim is very proud of her 3 to 5 times brushing and flossing per day. She got great teeth. Great teeth. Got to meet her in San Francisco at the UFO Con a couple of years ago. When she smiled, like the entire building lit up to a whole new brightness.
Wow.
Yeah, she's got those perfect teeth.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have hockey teeth like I do. You know? But on a serious note, everybody needs a Pascal. That's all I'm going to say, is everybody needs a Pascal. And my God, he is.
Is there anything in the chat room that we should pay attention to, Dave?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
I'm monitoring. Pascal one day will be a guest. One day. And you know, when I talk about Pascal, I don't just say it because he's in our chat room. I actually get quite emotional talking about him, because he has played such an integral role of me growing up and me becoming a man. And
I can tell you why, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Pascal has energy that's a really good balance of masculine and feminine energy.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
So that leads to maturity, like being able to assess and decide and figure things out.
Yeah. And you know what? He's one thing about Pascal is he will always downplay his importance. He's an extremely astute and humble man. And he will always give credit elsewhere. He's like a football quarterback, where when times are tough, he'll take the blame, but when times are great, he gives everybody else credit but the great game that he played. And yeah.
That's a good analogy, because we're all a team. Like, we're all related.
Hey, Justin Hemmingson, how are you? Yeah, he's amazing. Amazing. Is Pascal not a mod? He should be.
You have some awesome moderators in your group.
Hi, Wayne. Welcome. Where is that damn Pascal guy? There he is.
And you have a lot of followers, Dave. It speaks volumes. You have a lot of followers. I caught the tail end of your 305 interview last night with Merle and the group.
Merle.
And you have a lot of followers still that are from way back in the day. I saw Joe Monk in the room. There was a few names I recognized.
Yeah, he's supposed to be sending me another beard. Yeah. All right. We got 25 seconds. Big thank you to Simon times 2, T-Bone times 2, Pascal times 3, Human Carl, and A. Brock for the amazing super chats. Very much appreciate the love and support. Don't forget you could shop at our website, spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag, people. We got good stuff. And join the Space Travelers Club. Click the link below in the description on YouTube. Here we go. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. My name is Dave Scott, your host, with a lot of woo tucked in everywhere. A lot of people think I'm overweight. No, that's just all the woo I am packing in this human body right now. Right now. That's a lot of woo, people. Hey, reminder to each and every one of you that all of our archives are free. You can join us at youtube.com/spaced out radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well tonight. And what else do I have here? Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join the Space Travelers Club on Patreon. Here we go. PaisleyTown.com is her website as Paisley joins us from Vancouver, British Columbia, rainy Vancouver, British Columbia, because it is the rainy season. A lot of people don't even know, Paisley, that Vancouver is actually in a rainforest.
It is.
It is a total rainforest. And, but she's good with her psychic abilities. She's in tune with her tarot cards, and she is all about the numbers. The numbers. Right before the break, we were talking about, just intuition. How do we tell whether or not we have it? How do we tell whether we don't? How do we move it forward? How do we progress? What do we do about it? And I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because so many people are trying to find who they are, but we're struggling with it. We really are, because of technology, because of cell phones, because of social media, especially. Social media, in my opinion, has been one of the real catalysts of declining humanity, where we're, you could shop, you could grocery shop online, you can pay your bills online, you can find a date online. Everything comes online now. You don't have to go to a movie theater anymore because of Amazon or Netflix or Tubi TV or whatever it may be. There's so much going on that you don't have to do anything on your own anymore. You don't have to be social in a social media platform. How has this helped or help define people in their own spiritual guidance?
What a question. Dave, you ask the best questions, I swear. Spiritual guidance. So I have noticed a couple things. Yes, I'm guilty of spending too much time online, especially during the plague that we just came out of. But I think that internet and social media has saved a lot of people. It's helped a lot of people that are in remote areas. It's helped a lot of people who would otherwise not have access. Well, just as an example, when I used to do your show on Sunday nights, we had a whole bunch of people that were factory workers and shift workers that logged in to listen to the whole show while they were working alone in a graveyard shift somewhere, or while they're in Australia, or while they're in New York City. Like, we had people listening from all over, and without the social media and the internet, we wouldn't have that access. Like, I think it has saved a lot of people who live in remote areas and given them an additional way to connect with people. A lot of people put gaming down. I'm not a gamer myself, but it enhances brain activity. There's been a lot of TED Talks on gaming and how fantastic it is for memory. But I have noticed, even today when I was at the market, we have a little local market here called Langley Farm Market. It's not in Langley, but it's near my house. And the cashier was very young. And the gentleman ahead of me in line was a senior. And he was talking about, young people not being able to give change without looking at the computer to see how much change to give you if you're paying cash. And we had this conversation about young people not being able to read cursive or read the numbers on a clock. So the digital, social media aspect has, some pros and some cons to it. But I think that TikTok and Instagram and these kind of competitive social media engagement devices or tools have led to the sharing of knowledge to let people know to go outside, take your shoes off, put your feet in the sand, put your feet in the dirt or the mud or the grass, or walk in the forest and take your shoes off, just to connect with the planet. I see more and more people trying to make an effort to get outside when we're not having a monsoon or a snowstorm or smoky skies and fires outside. Weather permitting, sunshine and nature, right?
Yeah, I understand. And, we wouldn't be able to have grown as much as we have as a radio show if it wasn't for social media as well. Platforms like YouTube or Spotify or Google Play or iTunes have really benefited us in a great way. But on the flip side, I look at it where our phones have become our Bibles. And there's a lot of people, unless you go into a smaller town like where I am, there's a lot of people who've never even walked in a forest. They don't have time. They don't have the want or desire to know what it's like to smell nature. They don't know what it's like to go spend time beside a river or a creek or to see fish swimming, whether it's koi fish in a pond or salmon fish swimming upriver to spawn. And I think that's where we've lost a lot of our own touch with our nature.
Yes. And
and
nature
our,
is
and our
spirit.
humanity.
Yes. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I was just thinking about some of the places that I've traveled to, where you can have really amazing experiences. San Diego is one of my favorite places. I've been to about 10 countries in Europe. And travel is where it's at. Nowadays, do you find, Dave, it's a pretty commercial situation for people where people, like you said, are shopping online and buying stuff like maybe off, Amazon or whatever. But don't you find that now more people are leaning a bit more towards having an experience instead of buying a gift?
I think so. I think it is going that way, but it's a different way though. I
So
think it's
having an experience might be zip lining or skydiving or, you know, camel riding or
I would like
travel.
I'd like to ride on a camel. I'm not going to lie. I'd like to ride on a camel. You
One of
know,
my students is in Giza right now.
oh,
Yeah, she
very,
just sent some camel pictures.
very, very nice, very nice. I think it does that, but I know, like, say for instance, if I take my little guy out in the forest, he in I got a big yard. I got half an acre. Okay, he will not go outside and play. He won't get dirty. Won't go play in the dirt. Nothing. I take him out in the forest. Different kid. He's digging around, he's building huts, he's collecting wood, and he's making structures and playing in the dirt. to the point where we have to, strip him down to his t-shirt and his underwear just to get him back in the vehicle because he's so filthy,
Hose him down.
but to get him, but at home where there is an iPad, where there is a television, where there is YouTube, where there is virtual reality gaming, he's clean every day.
Dave, 2 words.
Go outside.
Fuse box.
Yeah. No,
Change the Wi-Fi password.
I understand that. But as parents, you fall into that trap too. You do, because, oh, well, he's playing. Oh, well, she's playing. Right? They're not causing any harm. Just let them do their thing. They're quiet. I mean, that's the way a lot of parents have become. I mean, you look at the amount. I mean, this is more on a social construct, but you even look at the amount of people who do not put their kids in sports anymore.
Well,
or music or anything like that, because it cuts into our time. We become a very selfish. We become individually very selfish with our time and everything. So it's very tough to put that together. But nonetheless, we need to switch over.
Yes, we will switch over. But before we do, I want to say, like, there's a few countries in Northern Europe, like in the Netherlands or Denmark, where school is outside in the forest. It's foraging. It's like learning to chop wood and build a fire. And they're outside all day. They don't like have some time outside and go back into the classroom. Their classroom is outside. And when I heard about that, I was like, yes, this is how it should be.
I've heard about that too. All right, let's get to some numerology here, because, one of your specialties and skills is dealing with numbers and patterns, and whether it's birth dates or something along that line. How do you read numbers to get a psychic message?
So based on a person's name and their birthday, that gives me some detailed specific information. There's groups of numbers that are connected to the element of water, groups of numbers that are connected to fire, and groups of numbers that are connected to air. It's a little different than astrology, because sometimes I've done a reading for someone before and I've talked about the water and they're like, no, I'm not Pisces, I'm Taurus, or whatever it is. Like, it's not astrology, but the month you're born will impact your personality. The day you're born will impact your personality. The year you're born, your name. Like, so it's super cool, because in your chat room tonight, you have a lot of people that are using their chat room name, but that's not their real name. And used to have a lady, and she was called Stony. I don't know if you remember that. She used to be in your chat room every night. And she booked a reading with me using the name Stony. And so I was telling her this and this, and she's like, no. And I'm like, is this your birthday? Is this your correct birthday? And she said, yeah. And I said, is Stony your correct name? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, how do you want me to do a reading if you're not giving me your name? So I read the energy of the numbers of a person's name and their birthday. And there's only one person I've ever met that doesn't follow it. Like that when I read her, it doesn't fit. And I've been doing readings for 20 years. It's amazing.
So I'll give you my name. Let's give the audience an example here. I'll give you my name. My name is Dave, or legally David. Okay. And my birthday is May 24th. Do you need my year?
No, we don't even need your year. I can give you information about this already. I'll tell you straight off. I know you're famous, Dave Scott. Dave. You're stronger to go as David. Did you used to be called David when you were young?
I hated it.
Okay, so That's okay. You can go by Dave. It's going to make you more sensitive. It's going to make you more empathic, and you will take on your surroundings in a, I'm going to say, like in an emotional way. You'll take on your surroundings more as Dave than you will as David. Does that make sense for you? So the name Dave is the energy of 6. I'll call the name Dave a 6 energy. There's 81 different name combinations, so I just break it down into 9 for the purpose of a quick, fast little instruction. But Dave is a 6 name, and it's empath, artist, healer, creative, sensitive. You love harmony, you hate conflict. Nature, you love people. Sometimes you may not, with the birthday May 24th, sometimes you may not speak up for yourself if you think it might hurt someone else's feelings. So you might suffer in silence rather than speaking up for yourself, if at the cost of someone else's emotions. You're laughing. Tell me why you're laughing.
Because that is very true.
And being born in May tells me that you, so just for our listeners, I'm talking about, if anyone's born in May, this may ring true for you, but it also depends on what your other numbers and what your name is. But in general, a 5 energy. So if someone's born on the 14th, that's a 5 energy. If someone's born on the 5th, that's a 5 energy. If someone's born in May, that's 5 energy. And what's fascinating about numerology for me is that I'm dyslexic with numbers. So all my life I said, I hate numbers and they're stupid and I'm never going to work with them. And what do we need numbers for? Numbers are dumb. So it's shocking to me that numerology pulled me in and I do this for a living. It's impressive for me. So May energy is about a little bit about politics. It's a little bit about advocating for others. Thank goodness, because once you can advocate for others, which you do that, I've witnessed you do that, Dave. Once you advocate for others, it helps you to speak your truth so you can speak up and advocate for yourself, regardless if it hurts someone else's feelings. And you speak up more now than you ever have. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because I haven't seen you for a few years. It's been a while since I saw you in person.
Here's the problem that I have, and I'm going to open up to my audience here for a second. Okay. Growing up, I didn't have a voice. Okay. I was always taught that my opinion didn't matter. All right. And then, well, this is getting emotional here. And then when I did find my voice, it was like throwing fire or throwing gasoline on a fire. So it didn't matter how right I was. I've always been the guy to blame. Even if I didn't cause the situation, I've always been the guy to blame. And that's part of the reason why I moved away from everybody and everything, is to finally find my voice so I could have approval from myself that I was worthy of having an opinion.
Well,
right?
you're so worthy. You got the
Like,
woo, Dave.
I can let me give you an example. When I worked in radio in Vancouver, I had this maniacal sports director, the most miserable jerk on the planet. We worked in sports and he was still miserable. Still miserable. One day, his golden boy, who still works in Vancouver media, by the way, his golden boy gave a breaking story of mine to a competitive radio station because he wanted to work over there. under the contract that we had to sign with the current radio station we worked at, that was a fireable offense. When I brought this to my boss's attention, I was the one who was threatened to be fired for being a tattletale, let alone doing something that was supposed to help the company.
Sure. I can tell you about that in regards to numerology, Dave.
Yeah.
So because we're on the radio, I'm not going to be able to show people, but if you take the number 1 and you go all through to the number 9, numerology is 1 through 9. So if someone's born on the 10th, they're a 1. It's 1 through 9. And if you use that like a scale, like a pendulum, the number in the middle is 5, which is balance. So we're not supposed to practice speaking up with our closest, nearest, and dearest family members that we might want to slap sometimes. And we're not supposed to speak up with our boss. We're supposed to practice speaking up, advocating for others, and in situations that are not emotionally charged. So, for example, you might want to start speaking up with a waitress or a bank teller or someone you're ordering food from at a drive-thru, or somebody who's not like your maniacal boss. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. But no, I mean, I can give you hundreds of examples.
And were they emotionally charged situations?
Some of them.
Yeah.
See, the other issue that I had growing up, what a lot of people don't know, is I'm a junior. And so everybody who loved or hated my father, okay, it rubbed off on me.
Does he go by Dave or David?
He goes by Dave, which is why I did not name my son David the Third, because I had to break the cycle of that energy.
It only takes 7 generations to break that cycle, by the way.
Well, it starts with a name change.
Yes. Interesting that you don't go by David then if your dad went by Dave.
Hated it. Hated being called David. I always felt when somebody calls me David, I go back to that small young boy who didn't have that voice.
So do we have any Davids in the chat room that you know of? If you just kind of quickly glance at who's listening.
Not that I know of.
So the difference between David and Dave. So the name David is 1 energy, which is very different from the 6 energy of Dave. So David would be more independent, strong, very well versed in communication, possibly accounting, because accounting is numbers, which is communication. Business owner, union rep, scientist, med lab technician, doctor,
Virgin.
What's that?
Virgin.
Gosh, I know so many sweet men named David. Actually.
Not me, man. I to me, the name David is so beta male that
it depends on the birthday.
I would challenge that.
Okay.
I would challenge that big time. Out of all the Daves and Davids I have met in this world, I would extremely challenge that.
Okay. You can challenge it. I still stand by my numerology. It's scientific. So being born is in May makes you a little bit political, an advocate for other people. Equality and equitability and fairness is super important to you. Would you say that's true?
I would say that's true. And on that note, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, Paisley Town. Because when we return, more learning about numerology, tarot, the experience it brings, the messages that we can get through from us to the other side, to our higher consciousness. PaisleyTown.com is Paisley's website. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. There we go. We're clear.
Do we have anyone in the chat room asking questions yet?
Not yet. I will highlight them. Gus 1980, welcome to SOR chat. Dirty Filth, what do you got for us here, brother?
Well, Dave, we got a little bit of a Halloween drawing.
I'm noticing
Plotting
this.
gray aliens.
Mm.
Ooh, we got a little Schwarzenegger gravestone there. I'll be back. And there's some more drawings.
All right. I'll be right back, guys. Speaking of being right back, Dirty Filth, it's all on you, man.
It's all on me. Hi, Paisley. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Can we see the other drawings?
Oh, yeah,
you have
the other one.
2 more.
This was the other one.
Like watching.
It's,
oh, you made that one into the graveyard one. Oh, that's beautiful. Can you zoom in a little bit for us?
Oh, I think I can. Oh, yeah. Here, hold on. I've got control. I think here. Oops. Wait 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
That's okay. The answer
I'm trying.
What's your do you want to what's your first name?
Klaus.
With a C?
Oh, jeez. With a K.
And does it have an E on the end?
It does not.
Klaus.
Yes, ma'am. There we go. There's Dave's wood gnome.
Oh my gosh, so cute. Oh, that's awesome. That's excellent. I can't see in the chat room too much because my computer's a little bit far away from me. So, and
it goes really fast. Excuse me.
So, Klaus, I'm gonna. Do you want me to call you Dirty? DF down
sure,
low.
That sounds okay with me.
Have you ever had a numerology reading?
I have not.
Do you want a little bit of information about Klaus with the K?
Let's hear it. I'm always up to be weirded out.
So, not knowing your birthday, you'll have some aspects of this, but this might not be fully true because your birthday might contradict what I'm about to say, but you get bored
Would you like
easily.
To know my birth date?
Sure. Yeah. Go for it. Tell me.
Oh boy. Usually don't do this. It's
not the year. Don't tell me the year.
September 23rd.
Okay, don't tell me the year because personal information and all that. Okay. One thing that could come up as a challenge for you is decision making. Is that true?
Definitely.
And you have a little bit of a temper. Is that true?
I can be pretty ragey.
Ragey. I love that. And do you work with, I know you're doing artist stuff right now, but do you work with wood or metal as a vocation, like as a job?
I do.
Usually people with this birthday will do like something like auto mechanics or welding or woodworking or cabinetry or building something out of wood.
It's nothing that glorious. I work with outdoor equipment, so lots of skids and chunks of metal and
yes. Yeah, pretty good just for the numbers, right? Usually when I do a numerology reading, it's at least an hour long. So it's like that, but for an hour. It tells me about your communication style. And I would say you love to be alone and you love to be with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
you have 2 sides that are like, it's not bipolar, but it's like once you have spent too much time around people, when it's too people-y outside, you have to pull back away from people just to get yourself grounded again so that you can re-energize and come back out.
I have been known to vanish like a ghost.
Right at the spooky season, too.
How convenient.
Looks good, Dirty.
I'll have to give you a call one of these days, Paisley. And
Yeah, I'm available to do readings. Yeah, for sure. Super fun. What city are you in?
I live in Edmonton.
Ooh,
I was kind of hoping Dave would come down for Guns N' Roses.
I know.
Dave should have.
You guys haven't had any snow yet, right?
Not yet, no. Monday, just like Dave.
Monday.
Yes, Monday's the day where the rabbits turn white. It's weird. I never knew that, by the way, that the rabbits actually turn white when the snow falls. And then when the snow melts, they can't change back until the following spring.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Guys, hold on one second here. Big thank you to Simon with a hat trick, Pascal with 4 super chats, Human Carl, A. Brock, T-Bone with 2. We very much appreciate the love and support, everyone. Thank you for doing what you do. Do some shopping at spacedoutradio.com. We got great swag. It's not ugly, people. It's definitely not ugly swag. You don't want none of that. And win the Space Travelers Club if you haven't already. It is down below here with the link. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Please join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Farouche. Farouche is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon at the SOR Space Travelers Club. From Vancouver, British Columbia, height unknown, but her hair is known. Beautiful and talented. Paisley Town, psychic medium, tarot card reader, numerologist, and she does so much more. She is wonderful. A beautiful human being. Her website, paisleytown.com. Paisley, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me, Dave. I've been really promoting your show, and hopefully some of my students and my people, my followers, are in the rooms tonight listening.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We very much appreciate that. So if you're new in our YouTube chat, checking us out, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, because we are here 7 days a week. 7 days a week. We do it. 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 All right. Let's get to some audience questions here, because they are starting to build up here.
Okay.
Let us go to Sovereign. What does the number 222 mean to you?
Say that again.
What does the number 222 mean to you?
So, numerology, the way that I was trained to do it is about people's names and their birthday. And to me, 222 would be more like an angel number. And, you know, when I was talking about going within or going on Google, if you go to Google and you type in, what does 222 mean? There's a lady named Doreen Virtue who has written a lot of books on angel numbers. And she can talk about what does 222 mean? What does 1111 mean? What does 777 mean? So 222 in numerology doesn't, the way that I was trained, I'm basically reading names and birthdays. So unless it's like February 22nd, to me it's not. You know what I mean? 222 is different than
I
what
hear
I'm
you.
talking about. And
All right.
interestingly enough, on Thursday night, a lady stood up when I was at the Rio, and her birthday was February 22nd.
Maybe that's the connection. Let's go to Kurt. Is there a difference in numerology between cultures, say Asian and European?
Of course. Yeah. There's lots of different schools of numerology. One of the things that I studied when I was taking metaphysics is Feng Shui. And Feng Shui is the balance of a space. And the words mean wind and water, like balancing of wind and water. And here on the west coast of Canada, a lot of people, there's a large Asian community here. So a lot of people here practice Feng Shui. And there's 7 major schools of Feng Shui. So there's 7 different kinds. And numerology, I don't know how many kinds there are. I do know there are some numerology systems that don't involve the elements, but I'm just, doing readings based on the way that I was taught from my mentor. His name is Clayne Conings, and he practiced some of the Kabbalah and the numerology methods based out of a place near 41st and Oak in Vancouver. And when I met him 20 years ago, he had been doing numerology for 44 years. So as far as I know, he's still practicing. He's on Vancouver Island now.
All right. We're getting some birthdays in here too.
Oh.
And let's go to our next question. Candy, do you recommend people do their own charts, readings, etc., or hire someone to do it?
I don't like doing my own readings for myself. I much prefer to have someone else read for me, because I don't want to put sometimes especially if it's an important question that you're asking, you don't want to put your will into it, if that makes sense, right? Like, I think it would be biased for me to do a reading for myself on myself. I mean, obviously I know my numbers, so I know what my personality is like, but I know what my personality is like so much so that after I had a numerology reading by Clayne Conings back in the day, I actually changed my first name and my last name because it wasn't a name that balanced with my birthday.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Paisley Town is my new name. And about 7 or 8 years ago, I did some ancestry information. And I found out that my grandmother's mother, her father was born in the town of Paisley. This was after I did my name change. I found that out. So Paisley is a town near Glasgow, Scotland.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for hiding that on us. Neil wants to know, well, in your opinion, what does 33 mean? Freemasons use it.
33 is not to do with numerology. It's
just a combination.
It's like the 222 that we just spoke about.
Right. Little Cam over on Twitch wants to know, do you use any apps or websites for your work?
I do not. I mean, not to perform my work. No, I do it all personally. Like, I don't want to say in my head because it doesn't come from me. Like, the way that I feel that it works is like, I connect with spirit. First, I ground and use protection, and then I connect with spirit, and spirit gives me information, and I feel like I'm just the messenger, and then I give that information to the client. And part of my prayer includes the highest and best for the client to come through. And so sometimes I don't understand the information, or I don't know what the information is that I'm being given. Sometimes spirit will give me an image and I draw it and I'm like, I don't know what the heck this is, but here I drew it for you. What does it mean? So symbols come through a lot that I don't know what they mean. And they usually mean something to the client, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Nicole or Nikki in Seattle. Regarding numerology, what, if anything, does a double Pisces mean?
I've never heard of a double Pisces. I don't know. That's astrology, I would think.
Let's go to Doug Shelby, the Doug Shelby. Hey, Paisley. I've always wondered if, after having one's future read, if it's possible to change that future.
Ooh,
Like,
Doug, good question. Dave, you know the answer to this question already, don't you?
yes, I do.
I don't do what I call predictive readings. I don't legally, I would say, and I do say, and I have said, and readings are for entertainment purposes only. You'll see that on my website. People are not meant to make decisions based on a reading, not medical, not real estate, not financial, not mental health wise. Like, that's not what readings are for. Having said that, I have a client who's an investor who comes to me for information that I provide, but I always have the caveat, like, this is not, like, I'm not a banker, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist. I'm doing a reading here. So I don't do predictive readings. I would call predictive readings something that you would go to like a fortune teller for. I'm not the reader you go to where I say like, oh, you're going to meet a tall, dark, handsome man and, live in a castle. Like, I don't do predictive readings. I provide information that spirit gives me for my client. And sometimes I don't get to choose that information. And what I mean by that is sometimes people want to come to learn about the scientific numerology. And while I'm doing a numerology reading, spirit interrupts me while I'm writing something down to the point where I can't even write. It's kind of like automatic writing. It just comes out. And while I'm writing things down, spirit interrupts me to tell them something else that has nothing to do with numerology.
See, and I look at it in regards to the future. If we want to look at that the future really is predicted by how you want it to turn out. So, for instance, you have the power and the authority to change anything you want under free will.
Destiny.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're somebody who has that black cloud over you, you have the ability to change that. You're not stuck in that pattern. And it's the same if you're having good luck. If you're on a real hot streak, you have to know that eventually things are going to calm down. It doesn't mean that you have bad luck. It just means that you went through a very good phase that was beneficial for you. And now it's time to come back to that normal stage of life now.
True.
Right. And
Yeah,
so I don't believe that if you get something, a prediction for the future, and I'll be honest with you, Paisley and I have had this conversation years ago, but one of my biggest issues with a lot of psychics out there, and this is why I don't bring a lot of them on anymore, is because I would usually, before I bring a psychic on, I would usually say, okay, if you're going to come on my show, I need a reading. I want to know that if I'm bringing you on, that there's some merit to it. I'm not just going to put you on for the sake of putting you on so you can express how awesome you are without being kind of tested to it. And the one thing that I learned from about 95% of the psychics that I interviewed in the past was everything great was always 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the road. But you have to go through this rough patch. And when you get out of that rough patch, then all of a sudden, you're making babies, you're winning the lottery, your business is taking off, you're going to have the best flower patch in the spring that you've ever had before. Okay. And then when you hit that 6, 7 months a little bit later, guess what? Oh, well, now Mercury has gone into retrograde and set everything back. But I could tell you in 6, 8, 10, 12 months, everything's going to be looking absolutely beautiful for you. But that 6, 8, 10, 12 months never arrives. And what I noticed in a pattern of a lot of these psychic people was that they were very quick and very, very accurate on nailing down the bad stuff. But when it came to the good stuff, it was always just out of reach. Like, I'll give you an example. And this is something Paisley has never, ever said to me. Okay. And this is why I trust her and I bring her on the air. Okay. Because she's never handed me a line of hogwash that is out of tune. And and what I mean by that is I've had a lot of psychics. One of the questions I always ask a lot of psychics is, when Spaced Out Radio going to take off? And once again, I get the 6, 8, 10, 12 months. No, the first answer is, I'm surprised it hasn't already taken off more internationally. And then, well, you got to go through this Mercury retrograde or Jupiter retrograde or your aunt's underwear's retrograde. Okay. But 6, 8, 10, 12 months, expect a phone call. And that phone call, and I would always mark it down mentally and physically, put the energy, try and manifest it. And that phone call never came. And when I went back to that person to say, hey, your date was wrong. Well, that's because ABC happened and then DEF came in, and then, you stepped in a pile of dog poo. There's always an excuse. So I lost a lot of faith in people trying to predict the positive. But come to the negative, it's very accurate for a lot of psychics.
Dave, do you remember the reading I did for you? I did a card reading for you. And we did it on Zoom. Actually, Lil was asking, do I use apps and websites? I use Zoom when I'm doing a reading for people. I don't need to have a video of the person. It could be by phone. I have read on Dave's radio show, people just give me their name and their birthday, and I read not knowing them, not seeing them, not knowing anything about them, never having met them before. So I don't need apps and all that. I just read numbers and psychic information. Do you remember the tarot reading I did for you?
It's so long ago now.
Okay. I'm not going to tell everybody what your reading was about because I'm all about privacy. But I'll say this. You were at a crossroads and you were making a decision. And I remember one card from that reading that came up. And I talked to you and I said the name Michael. Do you remember? Do you remember the reading now?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
You can be more, as long as it's not personal life, you can be very specific around the show and everything. So
it was personal life. It was a personal reading, but I'll tell you after the show when we're not on air in the chat room. I'll remind you.
Okay.
Yes, you were at a crossroads and you were trying to make a decision about something. It was after you were off work for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I don't usually remember readings, but I remember the card that came up and I said, "Oh, this card for me, it's a tarot card, so it's not attached to anybody's name, but I said to me when this card comes up, it's about someone named Michael." And you said, "Yeah, Mike." Yeah. And then
are we talking Merle Mike?
Nope. We are not. Does that ring a bell? That's okay. If it doesn't ring a bell, that's okay. Every reading is different. And unless I'm, teaching people how to be psychic readers, I don't repeat or share readings unless it's for the purpose of teaching. And if that's the case, I'll give like a small snippet of a situation without mentioning any names or any. It wouldn't. No one would know. It wouldn't be like I told Dave Scott. It wouldn't be like. It wouldn't be that.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. It wasn't Michael Hall.
Nope. It was someone with a beard. I'll tell you later.
Yeah. I'm confused. Let's go to Laura Lobbs. What would you recommend as a place to start if I want to pursue numerology?
Oh my gosh. I don't, besides myself, I don't know anyone who teaches it. I wouldn't be able I don't feel qualified enough in numerology to be able to teach. The class that I took is 13 weeks long, 3 hours a week. And it was extremely detailed with 81 name combinations. So it was pretty intense. I would say, like, if you're a reader, read a couple of different numerology books by a couple, 2 or 3 different authors, and you'll get the information you need from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do teach a 2-hour numerology class once a year.
Terrible Time says Dave keeps his ponytail and long beard in a Ziploc bag in the studio. The beard is in a Ziploc bag, by the way, but the hair, it's still in a nice, safe paper bag. So just so you know.
We already knew.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. It's the way it is.
You had really short hair when I first met you.
Yeah, it'll be short after tomorrow, too. That's for sure. 2 minutes to go. Let's go to Human Carl here. I wanted to stay away from readings tonight because we don't usually do reading show, but Human Carl is the exception because he's a veteran. He's been an amazing supporter here. Birth date, December 16th. Total number of year numbers is 22. I don't know what that means.
Okay, 22 is not the right number. So, here's what I'm going to ask Carl to do. Take the last 2 digits of your birth year and add them together and tell me that number. But in the meantime, and is Carl the correct first name, Dave?
Yes. I call him Human Carl because we don't want to get him misconstrued with Alien Carl, who came to my window.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That came to your window at the...
Yeah, so we don't want people to think that Carl's an alien when he's actually a human.
Right. And did he give you an answer?
We're waiting on it.
The last 2 digits. Okay. So the name Carl would be somebody that would get along with a person named David because it's one energy. It's evidential and scientific at the same time and intuitive.
12.
So 4.
12 is what his years
Got
set
it.
up.
Okay, so
he's born in 1911.
I got
he's born in 1911.
I got it. It's a 4. Hopefully I've got this right. It's a 4. So Carl gets along with all personality types unless he feels betrayed in a situation. And the betrayal could be socially, financially, verbally, any kind of, it could be like relationship betrayal. If there's a betrayal, Carl is done with you. Should be, if I had to explain Carl's organizational side, have you met Carl, Dave?
Not in person. Hopefully
Okay.
Hopefully at our fan party, Human Carl will make it to Reno, May 10th through 12th.
Okay, well, maybe I'll meet Carl in person. So the organization style of this birthday combined with this name would be organized chaos. And actually on the commercial break, Dirty Filth gave me his real name. Thank you for doing that, and his birthday. And I would say the same, organized chaos.
And on that note, we're going to take some organized chaos with our break here at the bottom of the hour. We have Paisley Town in for the next 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. Her website, paisleytown.com. We continue right after this. Stay tuned. Holy crap, Human Carl. I didn't know you were born in 1911.
No, he's just taking the last 2 digits and adding them together.
Ah.
And it comes up to 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Born in 1984, Human Carl. Or 2012.
You're never going to guess it. There's the way numerology works is you won't figure
39.
it out. There's lots of combinations.
Yep. I'm just teasing, Human Carl.
Of course.
I got my tarot deck right here.
Did Carl reply to confirm or
Let me
deny any information about organized chaos or betrayal or
no, he hasn't replied yet.
okay. Or even about evidential and scientific and
Oh, he
intuitive.
says so correct on everything. So let old Davey, we're going to draw a card here for Human Carl here.
Which deck are you using, Dave?
I am using my Oracle of the Shapeshifters deck.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
It is a beautiful deck. Hold on, I got to knock the...
Do you want me to grab an Oracle deck, Dave?
No, let's just have some fun here.
Okay.
I've never done this with my audience before.
Okay.
Shuffling them up for you, Human Carl. No shit, Ronald. Tarot 8 numerology. Go figure. Go figure. Human Carl was born in 1993.
For real?
No, he's born in 48.
So he's our age, Dave.
He's a year older than my dad.
Is he?
Yeah, my dad's a 49.
Oh. Okay, he's my age. No, not exactly.
You might get a date here, Human Carl. You might get a date.
Oh, that was so funny when you were talking about online dating too, because I have not met anybody on online dating. Okay. Stop shuffling. Pull a card. And who's this card for? Is this card for the listeners in the chat?
This is for Human Carl. I'm waiting for one. There we go.
Okay.
2 of them got stuck.
All right.
All right. First one. Little wolf girl. It is all right to be alone.
Yes. And earlier on the commercial break, I told Dirty Filth that he likes to be alone and he likes to be with people. Carl's a little bit more of a loner than that, but he's okay to be social.
And number 2 for Human Carl. A beautiful little worm. Take care of yourself, Human Carl.
Beautiful cards, Dave.
I know, they're gorgeous.
We're doing pretty good considering you said no readings on air.
Yeah, but it's Human Carl. We have to.
I'm impressed. Now, Dave, have you taken any metaphysical training?
No, I just know how to do it. See, when Pascal opened me up, okay, when he told me how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go, and I blame Pascal for this, and I thank him every day for it.
Of course.
I know how to read things that I shouldn't know how, and do things.
Yes, that's called intuition. Yeah, of course.
And like astral travel.
That's because you're born in May.
Or remote viewing.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to do it. I don't know how I know how to do it. I just know I know how to do it.
Right.
Reading cards. Like normally, if I'm actually reading a deck for somebody, I don't even read the words because the words don't tell the story to me. It's the pictures.
Right.
Right.
Speaking of the pictures, Dave, Van Gold wants to know what's the artist's name of the deck of cards that you're using.
Lucy Cavendish.
Oh, yes. She does some beautiful decks.
Yeah. So, right. Right there.
Yeah, it reminds me of there's a movie out called Big Eyes, that kind of art where
Yeah.
they have the cute
I
faces.
have like two other decks in here. The one I don't know where it is, but I have another like an archangel type deck that
Yes.
that um
Is it
I have
Doreen
to
Virtue?
no, I have to be really into it in order to read it. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like they're heavy cards.
Well, bring them to Reno.
Yeah, we got 5 seconds here, guys. Hold on 1 second here. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. I want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. We're on every major podcast network: Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, everything in between as well. You can also check out our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon and join the Space Travelers Club. All right, we continue on. Final time tonight with Paisley Town out of Vancouver, British Columbia. She's a psychic. She's a numerologist, tarot card reader, into psychometry, into a little bit of everything. And yes, she's single and looking. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I can say that because we're longtime friends. But Paisley, I love it when you're on here. It's been way too long. So thank you for coming on tonight.
I'm so happy to be here, Dave.
We were reading Human Carl.
We were.
So what do we get from this? What do we get? What can we tell our audience?
Readings are fun. They're for entertainment purposes only. Ask my insurance company.
Human Carl says, organized chaos is a perfect description of my work habits. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And that's some people might find like I'm just giving a quick snapshot of the combination of the numbers and where they fall in the birthday and the name. And some people might say, yeah, that's pretty general. But when I read for an hour and I have repeat clients, and those clients invite me to come and do Halloween parties or baby showers or grad parties. I have a lot of repeat clients. I have clients that have been seeing me for, more than 10 years.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Explain what psychometry is.
So it's reading energy from an object. Mainly, I like to read metal when I'm reading an object for someone, such as a ring or a watch or a pendant or a set of keys that's not like a plastic key fob to a Chevy F-250, whatever. I guess Ford F-250, not Chevy. I only say that because I took auto mechanics. I thought I'd be an auto mechanic. Do I look like an auto mechanic, Dave?
You do not look like an auto mechanic at all. No.
So yeah, you read the energy from objects, but I have been doing this on a regular basis. And so I have been able to read things like a photograph inside an envelope that's sealed. I put it in my left hand. I close my eyes. I use my right hand to like feel the energy of the envelope. I hover my hand above the envelope, and then I get impressions and I get information and I get feelings and I get names and I get When I was practicing psychometry, the at the very beginning, I just practiced on my friends because I didn't know I was going to be a psychic. And one of my friends gave me a ring to read. So when I was reading her ring, I said, I don't know what's going on. Like, this is the gift, except nobody gave it to you. It's a gift. Like, it doesn't really make sense. It's a gift and no one gave it to you. And she said, yes. And I said, that doesn't even make sense. She said it was a promotion at work that if you had high sales in this category, then you got the diamond ring. And she goes, I got the diamond ring. It was a gift, that it wasn't like from someone. It was a gift she earned.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Let's see here. I like this question. Richard's asking, my nephew was born 10/13/2023, which equals 11. And he goes, I've read that that's a master number, but I want to know more, especially since he's born on the 13th in 2013.
Okay. I don't study master numbers. There are a lot of, Dan Millman has written a book. I believe he talks about master numbers. There's about 3 different authors that I know of that have books that include master numbers. If somebody is an 11, I call that 1 + 1 is 2. I call that a 2 number. I don't call it a master number. If someone's 22, I call that 4. If someone's 33, if that's even possible, I don't know. 3 and 3 to me is 6, so it's not a master number. I don't read master numbers. That's not how I was trained to do it. I just go by what my teacher taught me. So it's a different school of numerology.
Okay. The birth date doesn't give you anything?
Yes, the birth date gives me, well, it's without the name. So somebody born October 13th or October 31st, because it's the same energy, Halloween birthday. They might be very contrary. So they might be of 2 minds about things and struggle with making decisions because the 10 is 1 energy, which is water, and the 13 or the 31 both add up to 4, which is fire. And if you think about nature, fire melts ice, water puts out fire. So water and fire in nature are contradiction. Like they fight each other, they're conflict. And so someone with the birthday 10/13 or 10/31, likely they may even present, and I'm not giving a medical diagnosis, but they may present as kind of having a bipolar personality because they might like to be alone all the time and they might like to be with people all the time. And that sounds like 2 different things, but it would be someone who feels safe being home when someone else is in the house. Like, for example, someone with this birthday, when they're married, they won't like it when their partner's at work for 12 hours. They want someone else in the house, even if they're not in the same room. If someone else is in the house or the castle or the condo, even if they're sleeping, they feel like they're not alone. Because that is a birthday that doesn't like to be alone. They like alone time without being alone, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
So we'll have to ask Richard if that resonates.
Let's
Part of psychic readings that's important, Dave, is like confirmation that it resonates. So I can talk all day long and go blah, 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 blah. But if the person can't confirm that it resonates, then it's not worth 2 cents.
Yeah, his name is Brody.
Oh, Brody. Is it Brody?
Yes.
Okay. So that is a sensitive soul. That person might actually they could go into any career and make it work. They get bored easily. They probably are very hyper and should be always involved. And I'm not a medical doctor. They would benefit if they'd be involved in cardio activity to burn off some of that energy. and they may go into something like acting, performing, singing. It's kind of like they could pull off anything. So a professional hockey player might be a great, if the person is inclined physically, a professional hockey player or a golfer or a basketball player would be ideal because they'd be able to do the cardio and they'd be like in the camera. Just as an example.
All right. Big question here from Simon in Australia. Paisley, when I use Pascal's darkroom method, talk me through the first steps. I think, did you ever do the darkroom with Pascal?
You know, it's interesting. Pascal mentioned being in class with myself and Beverly, and I don't have a recollection of that. I don't know that I've ever done the darkroom method, and if I have, I don't remember it. It would have been a long time ago, and I'm really excited to try it.
Okay.
It's one of Beverly's claims to fame. Beverly is a reader that lives in my city, and she's a very professional, credible reader that I trust, and I have sent people to her. She does mediumship. I don't know if she does radio shows, but she does mediumship.
I can actually answer this question because I've done the dark room with Pascal. So the first thing that you need to do is make sure that there is no potential light source coming in. You need to be in pitch black. Okay, so tape up your windows with black garbage bags, not just one of them, but 5 or 6 of them until everything is blacked out. There's no light able to come in. Tape up your doorways so that way there is no light coming in. And make sure you are in a dark room. Have all the lights off in your house so there is no, and all your blinds closed so that way there is less potential of light pollution coming into the room. From there, once you enter the dark room, your senses are going to go crazy because nobody is used to being in pitch black. And so what you want to do is make sure you are sitting down, okay, legs uncrossed, hands uncrossed. And what you want to do is put yourself through a meditation, which first off grounds you, but second of all, it gives you the control in order to call in things of peace, love, and light. You want to be careful with what you're calling in, because with your senses being tampered with as much as they are, if you all of a sudden say, hey, Beelzebub, come in and hang out with me, bad stuff can happen. Okay,
you don't even want to go there.
The first time I did the dark room with Pascal, we were about 3.5 feet, 4 feet apart, sitting in lawn chairs in this room. And we actually couldn't see each other, could only hear each other's voices, but we both witnessed a miniature solar system open up above us. And it was spinning, and there was like a sun in the middle of it.
Yes.
And we were watching little orbs all of a sudden swirl off and go do their own thing. Eventually the spirits came to say hello. But it was an amazing, amazing experience. It totally, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Sure. All of the psychics that I know that I work with on a regular basis or that I have worked with, all work with the light. We don't mess around and play around with trickster energy. We ask for the highest and best to come through for the client.
100%.
Yeah. And Beverly wouldn't use that name you used, the Beelzebub, whatever it was. She's a very credible professional reader who only works with the light. I can assure you.
No, and you have to set a very hard intention of what you want and what you want to see and what you want to be a part of. because if you're not in control, things can take off in ways that you want to.
Did you just do the darkroom method one time, Dave?
We did it 3 times.
Okay. Did anybody come up with information that they could smell?
I do not recall that. I recall the highlights that I recall were seeing my deceased dog sitting right beside me. That was really cool. I recall seeing this image of an old man, like very wrinkly faced, with his eyes wide open and his mouth open, kind of like he's yelling at me, coming from my right. I recall the solar system. I never got. No, I did get touched by a spirit. That was odd. One of the coolest experiences of it was I could see my hand right in front of my face. And to me, it was glowing. Like I could see my fingers moving. I could see everything about it. To me, it was glowing.
But it was dark.
But Pascal couldn't see my hand.
Right, right. I want to just pivot the conversation for a second because, when you're talking about like being touched, it brings me to all the paranormal work that I do, right?
Yes.
And I promised Merle that I would talk about him tonight.
Oh, of course. He's always wanting a little attention.
Well,
a little more attention than what he deserves. No, I'm teasing.
He deserves attention.
Yes,
he's such a sweetheart.
Love him.
So Merle and I are planning next year a special Halloween event. And it's already in, we're already starting to plan it. And we may get another group involved with it. We'll have to see about that. But I just want to put it out there because next year in October, we're going to do something, Merle and I together. I work independently on other teams, like not just one team. And I love working with Merle. He's my people.
I truly believe Merle, and I say this on the air without a doubt, I do truly believe that Merle is the best paranormal investigator in the country. I really do. That's my opinion. And I'll stand by that.
He's very ethical.
Yes.
I have found him to be that way anyway.
I agree with you. How do you like working in the paranormal, though?
I adore it. It's fantastic. I was in Pitt Meadows at a location. It was a residence. And I was being filmed. Shyla was filming me, one of the investigators. And usually the cameraman never speaks. So I'm in the room by myself doing a walkthrough before the other investigators get there. And normally, as the psychic being on the team, the only information I'm given is the address. I don't know if I'm going to a pub or a house or a vacant lot or a cemetery. They give me the address. They tell me to come and investigate. So I go in. I'm going to use the term cold. I go in cold or blind. So I walk around the outside of the property and I walk around the inside of the property, and sometimes I'm being filmed and sometimes I take notes to provide evidence. And I was standing in the middle of this family's living room and I was grabbed around the wrist pretty significantly. It didn't hurt me, but I was grabbed so tightly that I turned around to see who was in the room with me, except nobody was in the room with me except the cameraman who was in front of me. And he said, "Paisley, what just happened?" I said, "Someone touched my arm." It's a very cool experience. I can't even watch like a spooky paranormal TV show where I can't watch it. It's too scary for me. I'll have nightmares. But I can go into a house that has activity, no problem. I use my protection and grounding techniques and smudge, and it's very different in person than it is watching it on TV. It's not scary in person.
It's not scary at all.
It's amazing. It's an adrenaline rush.
I agree. I agree with you there. Till the aliens come. Then it gets a little haywire. All right. There's a couple other things I wanted to ask you. I mean, in regards to mystic topics, you do a lot of classes online and monthly classes. What are these about?
So I've been doing psychic development classes for about 6 years, where I took a lot of classes from a metaphysical school, and then the school shut down. And I took all the classes they offered. I took every class. So I got to meet like all the teachers that worked at the school. And I learned a lot of different modalities just out of like human interest. At the time, I was an office manager. I had been doing office admin for 28 years. So I had no idea I was going to be a psychic reader until like I said, like when I did psychometry, that was it. I was sold, boom. And I only was interested in doing this as a hobby, because you have to remember, my family didn't want me to be psychic. They were against it. It would have been really tough on them. And I did it anyways. I had some changes at work. I got laid off from my job suddenly, unexpectedly. And that weekend, I got invited to go do readings out in Chilliwack. So I drove an hour out of town and I did readings for 7 hours that day. And I made way more money in 7 hours than I made all week at work, including a 2-hour-a-day commute. So I was sold. I was like, maybe I'm supposed to do this. So ever since then, I've been doing psychic readings.
Good for you. Good for you. I love success stories.
Yeah. And the classes, I teach monthly classes in person in the Coquitlam area outside of Vancouver. And I teach 36 different topics: tea leaf reading, crystal ball reading, dowsing, psychometry. I'm a member of the Canadian Society of Questers, which is a quester is someone who's on a quest for knowledge. And these are intellectual people, and they use dowsing rods for scientific purposes to find water. And so I'm a member of the questers. And so I teach dowsing rods, pendulum, gosh, so many topics. I don't teach mediumship, and I don't teach scrying. You know what scrying is, Dave?
Yes.
Do our listeners know?
Break it down for them.
Okay, so scrying would be gazing into a crystal ball or gazing into a black glass bowl full of water, or scrying would be gazing into a water well. It's the art of, like, you have a soft gaze, you like loosen your gaze so that you can focus on something that's right in front of you without really seeing it, if that makes sense. It's being able to images in something.
Love
Scrying
it.
crystals, scrying water. Yeah.
Now, I know we didn't get to all the questions that you had for me tonight, but that just gives us more reason to bring you back on. And I want to say thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio again, my beautiful friend. It was a lot of fun.
Dave, it was awesome for me. Thanks for inviting me.
We'll do it again. Tell everybody where they can find your information.
Sure. My website is paisleytown.com. I have a Facebook profile wearing a purple sweater because there's a bunch of profiles that have my name on them. I have a Facebook page called Paisley Town's Events and Fairs because I do psychic fairs. And I'm on Twitter at Paisley411. And I'm on Instagram at Paisley Town Psychic.
Love it. Paisley, thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio. We will do this again very soon. And coming up in hour number 3, we're going to kick things off with Steve Stockton from Among the Missing. Then Robin Haynes will be here with the Cryptid Report. It's Dave 101 night. I'm feeling a little feisty tonight. Then we have the strange news of the week. Jam-packed hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio coming up next. Hey, original Aaron, the mayo and lettuce, they're in the crisper in the fridge. In the crisper. Just letting you know. All right. Paisley, thank you.
Dave, it was fun.
Yeah, it was way too fun.
Thank you so much.
Too fun. I'll call you soon.
Okay.
Take care, my
Take
dear.
care. Bye, guys.
All right. That's Paisley Town, everybody. You can see her in our chat room every now and again. And Robin Haynes, get ready to come on in. She is stretching with the Sasquatch as we speak. She's got her yoga pants on and her pajama top. Yep. Somehow both are in, how can we put it? Both are in flannel. And, yeah. While we wait for Robin, I will be right back, people. Don't go anywhere. Good morning, Simon, or Dogman UK. right. Yeah, Paisley's a fun interview. That's for sure. George, I don't know. I don't know what it meant, but it was really interesting to see. See what the weather's going to be like this weekend. Let's go here. Sun and clouds, clouds and sun. Good hunting weather. Perfect. Okay. Hey, RG, how you doing? Big thank you to Simon, T-Bone, Pascal, Human Carl, A. Brock, T-Bone, Pascal, Simon, Pascal, Simon, T-Bone, Lucy Bell, Human Carl, Simon, and Human Carl again for the super chats. Thank you for the love, everybody. Very much appreciated. And don't forget, you can sign up for the Space Travelers Club. Just click the link below in the description of this show if you're on our YouTube channel. And here we go with hour 3.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you for tuning us in. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Farouche. Farouche is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on the Space Travelers Club on Patreon. It is that time of the night where we say hello to Steve Stockton from the YouTube channel Among the Missing and another creepy story.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Among the Missing YouTube channel on Spaced Out Radio. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'm about to take you on an unbelievable journey of people just like you. Their stories and encounters will haunt us on Among the Missing. The Superstition Mountains in Arizona are famous for their rough landscape, stunning scenery, and captivating past. Nevertheless, various disappearances from the 1800s have given them a mystical and creepy reputation. According to legend, there's a hidden gold mine deep within the rough terrain of the mountains. Many treasure hunters have been intrigued by this and have ventured into the hills, but some have yet to return. In the early 1900s, an experienced prospector, Adolph Ruth, disappeared while searching for the rumored gold mine in the Superstition Mountains. In 1931, Harvey Mott discovered Ruth's punctured skull lying under a tree. The medical examiner believed the puncture was due to an Army-style .44 caliber revolver. Additional remains and some of Ruth's possessions were later recovered. In 1948, the partial remains of James A. Cravey, a retired photographer who disappeared while searching for the Lost Dutchman mine, was recovered by 2 men visiting Arizona. Cravey was the 20th reported person to perish at that time while searching for the infamous lost mine. Superstition's rough and uneven terrain and unpredictable weather conditions render it a hazardous location to explore, with a significant possibility of getting lost or injured. This is considered a contributing factor to the region's high count of missing people. Despite tales of missing persons and mythical gold mines, the Superstition Mountains still draw in adventurers, hikers, and excitement seekers. Next, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is situated on the boundary between Tennessee and North Carolina in the eastern part of the United States. It's a vast wilderness region famous for its stunning natural beauty, diverse wildlife, and cultural importance. Nevertheless, the park has been linked to several mysterious disappearances. According to the National Park Service, there have been over 1,600 disappearances since President Franklin Roosevelt formally dedicated the park in September of 1940. On June 14, 1969, 6-year-old Dennis Martin went missing while playing with his family in the park. He was never found, despite a thorough search involving hundreds of people, and the case remains unsolved. On October 8, 1976, Trini Gibson, who was 16 years old, was hiking with around 40 students from Bearden High School in Knoxville when she disappeared. Fellow students last saw Gibson as the group hiked back from Andrews Bald to the Clingman's Dome parking area. Trini has never been found. Some attribute the region's rugged landscape and erratic climate as possible reasons for these disappearances, but others propose the possibility of a curse by Native American spirits or even the presence of paranormal entities. To help visitors stay safe while exploring the wilderness, the National Park Service increased the number of signs and educational programs. The park remains a place of mystery and intrigue.
And thank you to Steve Stockton for another amazing story. If you want more just like that, head on over to his YouTube channel, youtube.com/Among the Missing. Hit that subscribe button. From the missing to the mysterious, it is time for Robin Haynes and the Cryptid Report. My fault, Robin. I'm kicking this off saying it is my fault. I did not have time this week to get you your own theme song, but I will do my best this weekend.
Okay.
I will do my best.
Well, you know, Duke and I look so much alike.
Well, you know what? You look much better clean shaven. Let me tell you.
Thanks. Always good to be here.
Always good to be here as well. And we love it when you're here. I want to ask you about human interaction with cryptids today. Okay. You know, a lot of people are out in the forests right now. It's hunting season, as you know, and that's usually end of summer. I was
going to bring that up.
Hunting season. A lot of campers, a lot of trailers, tents, a lot of fires and hot dogs and animals that fall down after a big boom that these Sasquatch or other creatures may not fully understand, unless you're a grizzly bear somewhere here in the north and even in the south, where they've decided that when they hear that boom, they can run towards wherever that boom was. There's a free meal there.
Yeah, they know it too. And you know, it's funny that you brought that up because that's what I was going to see if we could talk about tonight, because it is that time of year. I mean, the one thing what we're guaranteed with all the hunters out there is there's going to be some hunters that are going to see them. They're going to run into the dogman. They're going to run into the Bigfoot. It seems to be more predominant that they run into the Bigfoot than a dogman, but it happens on both. It happens with the cat people, you know, goat man. You're out in the woods. You're out in their territory. They're trying to get food for winter just like you are. You know, they spend months preparing for winter. They stock up on food. I've been in caves before where they've had 10, 12, 14 deer stacked up that they've gutted out and they're stacked up in there. So they've got food for the winter. They know what they're doing. They're stockpiling. We're doing the same thing. And there are so many hunters that go out there, they get a deer, they follow that blood trail only to find the blood trail just evaporates. And a lot of times they run into the ones that taken the dead deer and they're standing there and there's this giant Sasquatch. You know, it's great that you have a gun on you as a weapon, but the thing of it is obviously if your life is threatened, you need to use it. But the reality of it is these guys are all linked together as a collective consciousness. If you can get one down, and that's if, it's really, really hard. The rest of them are coming. One goes down, they all know about it. So it's not quite as easy as you might think. Your best bet is if you've got a deer that you killed and you walk up on it and a Sasquatch is taking it, by all means, let them have it. It's not worth it. back up, stay quiet, and, or if it sees you, try to talk your way out of it. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just here. I'm going to leave, and back up and get out, because you don't want that fight over it. They're trying to feed their families too. It may not be fair, but the law of the land, that's how it works. But there's going to be a lot more encounters, and they're all very active. All the cryptids are very, very active right now. The weather's getting cooler. And again, they're out trying to get things ready for the next, the winter. And everything is fair game when you get out in the woods. So it's entirely possible that you're going to see a lot of activity out there. Try to be respectful. You're going out into their world. You really are. And they don't mind sharing that world. But, don't go out there and try to play the heroics, because you're not going to win. But definitely keep your eyes and ears open.
Have cryptids like Sasquatch and Dogmen been known to steal hunters' kills?
Oh, a ton. Yes, they absolutely will. And another thing people need to be aware of is, like, I'm from Michigan. In Michigan, they put bait piles out. Okay. They will literally, they're smart. They know what comes to the bait piles. And not only will they help themselves with some of the food from the bait piles, but they will literally go and watch for the deer to come in. And there was more times than I can count that we would put, I'm not a hunter to begin with, but my kids always hunted, and their dad hunted with them. And they would put the bait piles out on our property, and they would go out there the next day, and you would find deer guts on the ground and the deer's gone, or you would just find a pile of white belly hair. And it wasn't another human that had taken him. It was a Sasquatch. There's footprints all over the place. So it's not like it wasn't pretty evident who was taking them. They wait for those deer to come into the deer pile, and they'll grab them. And we had, at one point, my ex-husband's brother was out there hunting, and we weren't even home. But we had bait piles out there, and he come running out of the woods, and he says, "Why didn't you tell me you hired somebody in a white gorilla suit to walk around the woods?" And I said, "Yeah, because we're so wealthy. That's what we do with all spare changes. We hire somebody in a white gorilla suit to patrol the woods." That's what we do for fun on Saturdays. And he was terrified because he was out there. He was bow hunting at the time. There was the bait pile, and he was in a deer blind, which they hate the deer blinds. Every deer blind we ever put up, they destroyed. And he was in that deer blind watching when a white male Sasquatch came up and started picking through the bait pile, and there was a deer there, and it came up on that deer. And of course the deer took off because, the kid was there, but he eventually got that deer, because we went out 2 days later, and there's like this giant white hair pile right next to the bait pile. And then the bait pile was completely clear. There wasn't one carrot or apple or, anything, sugar beet there. It was all gone. But they absolutely hit the bait piles. They're so highly intelligent. They know what they're doing. Like I said, I personally, for somebody, that is of intelligence, I wouldn't be taking shots at them, because it never ends well for our side, ever. If your life is in danger and threatened, then of course you have to defend yourself. That's just a given, but it's really not advisable. Number one, you've got a lot of bone to go through. Two, they're on a collective consciousness, so everything knows about it. And three, the sheer strength, by the time that bullet actually did its job, what they could do to you before then is astronomical. And that's before you filter in the paranormal abilities.
Well, just a whole grasp of things right there.
Yeah.
What about invading campsites? I have heard from numerous people that when they're camping, or it doesn't even have to be hunting season, but fishing season, or just out camping with some friends, that tents seem to be a real attractant to the Sasquatch.
They're curious about what we're doing inside of them. And, where there's people, there's usually food. So it's an easy meal. My son, one year, we had a 4-man tent. And he said, "Mom, I'm going to camp in the backyard." I said, "Okay." Well, their idea of camping was they camped like literally 5 foot from the back of the house, ran these giant extension cords out, and hooked up the PlayStation and the TV inside the tent. So it wasn't exactly like they were doing a lot of roughing tent work out there. And they were out there all night long, and the Sasquatch came up and kept poking the tent, and they could see their fingers being pushed into the tent, and they could, in the shadows, because we had a floodlight back there, they could see him walking around the tent. And the one actually went and urinated on the corner of the tent that my son was in. I'm laying there and it just sounded like this huge water spout. But yeah, it's very, very common. And, coolers have food in them. We have food with us when you're camping out normally. They're attracted to the laughter and people having a good time. That raises their frequency, it raises their energy, and it makes it really fun for them. And they come in and they observe. I mean, I always tell everybody, while you're out observing them, they're also right there observing you. And so they really hit a lot of it. And they know that campgrounds provide food and great entertainment for parentless people. So yeah, they're right around there, and they'll do that all year round.
Is there an actual smell that attracts them? Is it hot dogs? Is it like, give me an example? I know a friend who used to work in the car business,
Mhm.
and every weekend he would have the barbecue going with onions, cooking onions,
Yeah,
because
and they would come.
onions have the ability where the scent of the onions, it wafts for hundreds upon
Yeah,
hundreds of feet, and it attracts people in. Like, where's that onion smell? Where's the barbecue?
yeah.
And that's how he would attract people to come in to his car lot. And so I'm curious, is there any type of odor or smell that attracts the Sasquatch to a campground?
Well, I think, depending on the clan, they're just like us. Everybody has certain food tastes that they like. What I've noticed in my lifetime, and I'm sure other people's, that have done it have noticed something different, but bacon is a big thing. I mean, let's go to Duke. Poor Duke. Every time he goes to the mountains to see the Sasquatch, he has to bring bacon, and it has to be cooked because they don't want it raw. And, the hot dogs, it's a typical smell that you have at a camp out. It's very common. And so they've learned that that smell means there's food. It's not so much the hot dog itself, it's a learned thing. When they smell that, that means there's people there cooking food. And because they're used to that, these are typical things you find at a campground. A lot of people cook bacon in the morning. A lot of people cook hot dogs or hamburgers. When I had them at my house, there were certain things they liked cooked meat and certain they didn't. The old saying that they don't cook their meat is really irrelevant because they actually do. But again, that depends on the clan, depends on which one. Some use fire, some don't. They don't have a problem eating it raw, but there's also a lot of them that do like it cooked or at least warmed. But I've always found that hamburgers, hot dogs, bacon, that seems to be in the top 5 or top 3. And then you start getting your steaks and your ribs and stuff, and they're all over that. But they have certain smells that you normally would smell at a campground, and that automatically, it's more association than it is taste. That association tells them that there's going to be food there, and if there's one human with food, there's going to be more.
That makes sense. Okay, what about personal objects? We know that they can recognize the sounds of cars or
Mhm.
recognize vehicles, but what kind of objects are they listening for? Is it human voices? Is it, we've
Yeah,
often talked about children laughing and playing, you
they
know?
like they like the voices. The laughter again raises the energy and the frequency, so they're drawn to that. Things they're going to be listening for to make sure they're safe. Do they hear anything with a gun, like a cocking of the gun? They hear a gun cock and they already know what's going to happen. The cars, if you're in an area that there's not normally cars there, but then you go there with cars and you're going to have a campfire and there's food there, those around there are going to recognize that a car is going to bring food. So it depends on the circumstances that they're around. But they really, the voices, they're drawn to it. They know what it sounds like, food cooking and like bacon sizzling in a pan over a campfire. They know what that means. They know what that sound is. It's what they've had around them that's going to get them what they want. That really brings them in.
Yeah, I can see that. What about people though? Like, what attracts them to people?
Happiness, joy, laughter, music. They love music. My daughter used to sit out for hours and literally play her instrument that she played for school. And they loved it. They would come out of the woodwork for it. Tibetan singing bowls, another huge, huge hit because that is all vibration and frequency. So, and the energy from it. So they're going to be right there on top of that. They really are so based on the energy and frequency that when you have laughter, and laughter raises that on a consciousness level. And so when you're happy, that's higher energy, that's higher vibration. So the happiness, when they get a little concerned, is when there's a lot of darkness. Like if you have people that are arguing and fighting and carry on, you're going to get their attention, but you're going to get it for the wrong reasons. They're going to come in because now you're considered a threat. Your energy is down, it's dark, you're yelling, you're screaming. That's now a concern for them and their family structure. So you're going to get attention, but you're not going to get what you want. But the
Okay,
whole
so
happiness bubble works really good.
let me throw this into the mix then, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Camping at night leads to a lot of people having a few beers and a few other type of cocktails at night. They get loud, they get obnoxious, they get
That's
disorderly.
They get more concerned when it gets like that. They actually do. They can get overstimulated really easy. And so when you have a lot of people that are drunk or, feeling good, so to speak, and they're loud and they're rude and they're obnoxious and they're hooting and hollering, that actually bothers them. That's annoying to them. That's not a normal happiness thing. You've now crossed that line where you're an annoyance. And they get overstimulated very easy. It is so built into their cognitive setting that things can want to hurt them. They're on guard at all times because they've had to live their entire lives like that. So when you get people that are loud and obnoxious and are, like at a frat house party, they get on guard. They're not relaxed. They're not happy. They're not just chilling with you and watching you and observing you where you might be able to see them or interact with them. Now they're on guard because that person's energy is also changed to where it's now considered a threat for them.
Okay, so most people don't know they're in a Sasquatch area because
Right.
for all intents and purposes, any forest is a Sasquatch area for
Right.
the most part. Okay. So how does one go out there and have fun, relieve some stress out there, whether it's over a couple of beers or a steak on the open fire pit or whatever it may be, without getting themselves hurt or harmed?
Generally, watch for the signs. There's going to be signs. Not only are you going to see your stick structures or footprints or whatever, the arches on the trees, but also be aware of your surroundings. If you're hearing calls going off, like certain whistle calls that seem unusual to you, they're there. If you get little pebbles thrown at you, that's a way to say, hey, we're here. The more agitated they get, the bigger the rock. Be aware. And the other thing that's really important, and I say this all the time, and when you walk into an area and you have that really happy, relaxed feeling, you know that you're welcome there. If you walk into an area and it goes from that happy, relaxed feeling, and all of a sudden it's tense and it's irritated and it just isn't comfortable anymore, that means that you've either gone too far in and you're now in your area and you're not wanted there, or perhaps your behavior is not what they feel comfortable being around. And that's your cue to just very calmly leave. People tend to not realize their signs. Their signs are very, very subtle. So you want to really be careful and be aware of what's going on around you. And again, anybody that doesn't even know how to do the energy readings are going to be able to tell if everything feels really good or really tense. Or if you go out to a spot, and Dave, this happened with you before too. You went out to a spot and you said, that area just didn't feel like it normally did. It was tense. And you were smart. You left. That was your cue that that's not where you're supposed to be for that night. And then you went back a couple weeks later, it's fine. So just be very aware.
Robin, where can people find you?
You can find me at Robin Haynes, Haynes on Facebook. And I just opened within the last week my own website where I teach different classes and counseling sessions, psychic readings, and energy work, various things. And that is at paranormal-empowerment.com. And there is a contact form there. If you don't see what you're looking for on the site, simply fill out the contact form, send it to me because I offer a lot of other services that aren't listed.
Robin Haynes of the Cryptid Report. We'll talk to you next week, Robin. Coming up next, I'm a little flummoxed, a little not understanding, and I'll explain why next to the Dave 101. We will be right back. Great job as per usual, Robin.
Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, thank you for letting me mention the site. I just opened it. This is stuff I've been doing for 40 years. It's not anything different. The only thing now is I went public with it. That's the only difference. And I'm covering the UFO and the paranormal stuff on top of it. It's not just cryptids and spirits and you name it, and it's covered in there. So yeah, you can do like private psychic readings or private sessions or whatever, or you can do a class.
Beautiful. Love it.
So I will see you next week. It's always great to be here.
We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, bye, babe.
Bye-bye. Robin Haynes, everybody. Isn't she awesome? She's just amazing. Just amazing. Mm-hmm. Love it. CS, how you doing? I am great. My pain is starting to go away, which is nice. Starting to, I could actually walk today. Walking is good. And had another treatment session today, and I can feel my body starting to loosen up a little bit, which is nice. Oh yeah. See if I can find something for you here. I can't do the copyright play sound, but let's see if I can find something here. Hold on. What's this one? No. Let's try this one. This is my little guy jamming away. I love it. I love it. So proud of him. So proud of him. What happened was my lower back is seized up. And so I've gone for chiro / pressure point therapy / massage, all kind of built into one with my good friend Phil. And he's putting me back together. Which is good. All right, big thank you tonight, Simon, Pascal, Human Carl, T-Bone, all with multiple super chats. Thank you, A. Brock, Lucy Bell. Very much appreciate the love. Awesome night tonight. Awesome night. And May 10th through 12th, 2024, at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort. The contract is signed, so we are going to Reno, Nevada for the 3rd annual fan party. So make sure you put that on your calendar. We're going to start opening it up to getting deposits on tickets soon. So make sure you're part of that. Go to our website, spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag, people. So make sure you check it on out. Here we go. We rounded 3rd. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join the Space Travelers Club right now on Patreon. It is that time of the week where I yell at everybody to get off my lawn. It's the Dave 101.
It's time for Dave 101.
This is a 2-part rant tonight. One that has a lot to do with what we talk about on a nightly basis here. And the other one has nothing to do with it whatsoever. And that's the one I'm going to start with tonight. So, I don't know how it works in the U.S. or any other province in Canada when it comes to car insurance. But on one of my vehicles, the insurance is running out in a few days. So I get this phone call from this guy. And he says to me, hey, your insurance is running out. And would you like to renew your insurance without having to go into the insurance agency? So I'm like, sure. You know, I normally deal with the same ladies at the insurance company. They're beautiful. They're nice. They take care of me. Do all my vehicles there. But they got this robocall system now. You know, supposed to speed things up. So the guy says to me, okay, you own such and such a vehicle? I said, yes, I do. And he goes, I can do your insurance. I just need you to go email me a picture of your odometer. And I said, no. He goes, why not? I said, well, number one, my vehicle isn't with me right now. And number two, why am I doing your job? Why am I doing your job? I've never been asked for my odometer before, but apparently in British Columbia, there's this new thing where if you drive under 10,000 kilometers a year, or equating to about 6,200 miles a year, you get a little bit more discount. So I said to the guy, I said, no, I'm not going to get you my odometer. I said, you're making me do your work. And I've noticed this around my daytime business too, because I have a daytime job. I work in financing, where all of these companies are all of a sudden coming in, whether they're from corporate headquarters or whether they're all these sidebar companies that want you to sign up with them because they're going to make your whole life easier. And how do you do that? How are they making you do your whole life easier? Well, what you got to do is after you type out all the information that you've already typed out for your client or preparing your client for, They want you to go on their website and retype everything again. How does that make my life easier? Have you noticed that all of these corporations, doesn't matter what it is, they want you to do more, take time out of your day, provide your information, fill it out on a bunch of different websites and crap like that in order for them to speed up their job for you. I'm getting tired of it. Stop hitting me up for stuff. Seriously. The minute somebody says, hey, we're trying to make things faster, trying to streamline everything for you, I know it is absolutely full of crap. I know sitting in this chair, can't talk to anybody at YouTube, can't talk to anybody at Spreaker, can't talk to anybody in StreamYard because they don't have human components. But they sure as hell want you to have a online conversation with one of their helpers. You ever do that? You ever go to a website where they're like, chat with one of our team members? And it's all computer generated with the most lazy typing of answers. Yes, what is your issue for your cable today? I don't have signal. Then it gives you 4 options. Your television isn't working. Your power is out. Your child ate your remote control. Choose one or other. So you choose other because none of that. And all you want to do is talk to a human being. But that's now passé. Nobody wants to talk on the phone anymore. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's eating up more time than has ever been done before. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous when you're trying to do things as a human being and get things done and get things accomplished. And then they have the nerve at the end of their survey. Was it helpful? No, it wasn't helpful. No, it's not helpful at all. What's helpful is if you get a human being on the other end who actually knows what they're typing, or on the end of a phone call where we can actually have a conversation to solve the issue. So I'm tired of my time being wasted. That's one part of this. The second part, we kind of got into it with Paisley Town. Not got into it with her, but on one of the subjects about psychics. Okay? I used to bring psychics on all the time. Every now and again, we'd do some readings and have fun with some people for entertainment purposes only. But I had to cut that out. Because everybody about 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, was becoming psychic. I remember this one lady, she was in our chat room. Never been psychic before. She started listening in. We'd have a few psychics. Oh, I really like this person. I really want to, learn from this intuitive. Next thing you know, like 4 months later, the lady's doing live Facebooks on psychic readings. She's doing the readings. Never done a reading before in her life, but now she's incredibly psychic. Here's the problem I have with psychics. Most of them are vague. Most of them can predict anything bad that's going to happen. But when it comes to something good, they are always 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the road. You never get to that point of goodness in your life. They can tell you that you're going to get a flat tire. They can tell you when you're going to get sick. They can tell you if you're close to losing your job, or your company's going to shut down, or you're going to run out of gas, or your child is going to fail their math test. But everything good is always a ways away. Then we got to worry about Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, random guy retrograde. All the retrograde you can handle. But the good days never seem to come. And I got frustrated with that. I really did get frustrated with that. It started becoming a thorn in my side when everything would be 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 months down the road. Oh, it's just past this Mercury retrograde. I promise you, that radio contract is coming, or that television show that you wanted to be on. They're going to call you. It's ridiculous. It is BS, which is why I stopped going to psychics altogether. Now, I do have some intuitives in my life that I trust. Paisley Town being one of them. My guru, Pascal, being another. I trust our Keith Andrews, our Friday night weirdo, and Samantha Mowat. Those are my 4. If I have a question, I know I can approach them at any time because they're not going to give me the old 6, 8, 10, 12 months away. They're going to give me what it is that I need for right now. Now, I'm not saying go to a psychic or anything, but if you are balancing your life on whether or not you are getting online readings on Blog Talk Radio for literally free, and you're bouncing psychic show to psychic show to psychic show, trying to get different messages, one that actually suits you, A, it's not going to work. B, it is for entertainment purposes only. And C, no matter what the psychic says, go to a doctor and get yourself checked out, please. Don't trust your psychic over a Google search. It's just a pain in the butt. Why can they not predict the future in positivity? Even when you get these call-in shows, remember back in the day they would do these call-in shows? Well, what do you expect for 2013? Well, I expect the world is going to collapse with a solar flare, the largest one we've ever seen, and it's going to hit on September 18th. And it's going to knock out the world's satellites and communication, and we're going back to the caveman days within 2 weeks. Remember those predictions? I believe that Elvis is finally going to be dead, even though he died in 1976. But people are still seeing him. I believe the aliens are coming down on March 21st, and they are going to annihilate humanity a la Tom DeLonge's nightmarish dreams. But you never heard someone say, I'm predicting world peace. I'm predicting that someone else outside of Tiger Woods will win a golf tournament. This is going back in the day. Or, heaven forbid, the Vancouver Canucks ever win a Stanley Cup. Or a Canadian team wins a Stanley Cup, for that matter. It's been 30 years. No, they can never predict anything good. They really can't. I went to a palm reader earlier this summer. And she's looking at my palm. Oh, look at that line. Do you see that line there? Well, that means you're going to live a long, good, healthy life. I'm looking at myself and I'm about 55 pounds overweight. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I am the epitome of health, lady. I am the epitome of health. And then she goes, oh, see that line there? You should be betting on your family's birthdays on the lottery. It's going to win. It's going to win. And you should do it soon. You should, even tonight, go buy that lottery ticket and choose each of your family's birth dates. Your kids, your spouse, your dad, your mom. It's going to hit. So what did I do? After I got 20 minutes of BS for $30, I said, tell me about the ghost that runs around your hallway upstairs by your bathroom and likes to sit in the brown chair that you have downstairs. The lady went pale-faced. She goes, how do you know about him? I said, I'm psychic. I know these things. Who's the lady that hangs out at the top bedroom by the door but never goes in the bedroom. She was freaking out again. Now, this is stuff I actually did know because I actually was shown visions of this. I told her, I said, you better pick up your game because the hand thing, not working for you. But this is how they all try and scam you out of that $20. I mean, remember, every year we see people get scammed. $100, $1,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000. There's always somebody getting scammed because we all want to know what the future holds. Find somebody you can trust. Check their references. Believe it or not, psychics do have references. Okay, that's the beauty of Google or DuckDuckGo or that absolutely atrocious Bing, if you ever want to use it. No, don't use Bing. You type in anything on Bing, it takes you the complete opposite direction. How do I unlock the doors of my 2019 Toyota RAV4? You type that in on Bing and it shows you a 2006 Ferrari, how to unlock the doors. Thanks, Bing. You're awesome. Unbelievable. That is my rant. Let's smarten up the world. Let's start communicating. And by God, don't waste your money on a psychic unless you've vetted them and you know people who have gone to them and have shown their accuracy, like Paisley Town, who's amazing. That's your Dave 101. Let's get to Shirky Poo's news.
What time is it? It's time for Shirky Poo's news.
All right. Airport security at Panama City's Tocumen International Airport on Friday searched a Copa airline flight bound for Tampa, Florida for a suspected bomb. Although it was a bomb of a different kind, a real stinky adult diaper. You can't make this up. The plane had to return to Panama City because of the reports of the treacherous bomb. Boeing 737-800 landed around 11 a.m. local time and moved to an isolated stretch of the tarmac where 144 passengers were taken off the plane. An anti-explosives team inspected the aircraft, finding the duty-filled adult diaper. Jose Castro, the head of the airport security team, said a suspicious object in one of the plane's bathrooms was found, and it was an adult diaper. Go figure. Where else are they supposed to put it? See, this is the dumb that people have these days. Where the hell is this person who unfortunately has to wear an adult diaper? Where are they supposed to put it? It's not a bomb. It's a diaper. And you ruined everybody's flight for it. But that person won't get a slap on the hand, no. A flight that had previously been delayed twice was canceled for good. Why? Once again, who does this? A passenger decided to drop a deuce right on the floor of the aircraft. Yeah. The EasyJet flight from Tenerife, Spain to London had already been delayed several hours, according to passenger Kitty Streak, who shared a video on X of the pilot announcing another cancellation. In the clip, the pilot announced that someone on board had decided to go number 2 on the floor of the plane's front toilet. So now we're staying the night here, he announced to the already frustrated passengers, adding in hotel rooms would be arranged. The flight was rescheduled for the morning. If you're in the bathroom stall, how do you miss? If you have, they're tiny enough where you still have room to turn around. How do you miss? It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yes, they're calling the experience very frustrating. Fellow passengers, Aaron Goodell, recalled smelling some human waste after 2 passengers visited the front bathroom. It was just a very uncomfortable experience. Are you kidding me? Be a little bit more correct here. Okay, your nostrils were burning. You didn't have any fun smelling someone's hot tamales that they ate right before. Just tell the truth. Obviously, the plane was in an unsanitary state, so they had to get external cleaners out from the airport to clean it. No kidding. No kidding. By the way, for this airline, it's the second poop incident on a plane in the last month. Don't fly EasyJet. Okay, people don't keep their pants on there. Now, this one, I'm a little weirded out by. You might be too. An Australian model has discovered that her top subscriber on her OnlyFans page is none other than her stepdad. Tyler Madison from Newcastle, Australia, was stunned, and apparently her mother was pretty stunned too, to learn that her stepdad was buying up her XXX content on the adult site. I had a subscriber who was purchasing all of my content since 2 to 4 weeks ago and basically blowing up my account, she says. He had a very specific username that was not automatically generated, Madison detailed. We would talk every single day, and he made specific requests almost every day to do so. She explained that after some digging, she was able to connect the username with someone who had viewed her TikTok account. I was left with 6 numbers, and my stepdad was one of them. She said, I went with my gut. I messaged him online saying I knew who it was. Madison said he denied it at first, so she threatened to tell her mom. Within 2 minutes, she got a text message from her stepdad saying, hey, Ty, can we talk? Oh, I think you're beyond talking at that point. I don't know. See if we got time for one more here. We do. A black bear looking to stock up on some bear necessities before winter made off with a frozen meal from a Connecticut home. Yeah, the scene was caught on home security, and literally the bear breaks into the house, walks into the kitchen, opens up the freezer, steals the family's lasagna, and hauls it off outside to his nice cave, where he's now going to be munching on that, having lasagna over the winter. Good for the bear. Congratulations. Got a good meal in just before heading into hibernation. Yeah, we love it around here, don't we? That's your news. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAV, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
We're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home.
I know you're out there somewhere watching me.
Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, good news. We got room for them too. Good night. I still want to know who the hell drops a deuce in the middle of the floor on an airplane. It's horrible. And that poor girl with her stepdad stalking her on OnlyFans and paying her for it? You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Unbelievable. Unfrickin' believable. Oh, why is this not working? Why are you not working now? This page is not working. Okay. All right. Any questions for old Davy? Thank you, Kurt M. In 2 seconds. Now I gotta check and see if those idiot commercials are back. Hot damn, that bugs me. Shorter than this. I'll probably keep the top a little bit longer. I've decided I'm growing out the beard. I am going to do that for a little while. No, I did not renew my insurance after that. See, those freaking commercials are in here. Bear with me. Gotta edit these stupid things. Sound is
Here.
So
Yeah, it's been crazy.
longer. Or path.
This is amazing. We have so much.
3, 2.
Just this is amazing. We have so much.
3.
Right about there. That should be one of them gone. Oh, play for God's sake.
Just a huge draw. I remember, the day that it happened. It was around 2003.
And what was your awakening?
Like owner of the
Through your mind subject.
scared. You go to the doctor, I say them.
So he ran even
Changed her mate, but she didn't know.
has to be more than just in
Part of the brain.
The very
Yeah,
It's not the logic, it's the other stuff. So
that's right there.
3, 2, 1.
That's gonna be right.
3, 2.
Shut up, you moron.
like a headache, or I don't feel good, or if I'm grieving, for
Oh,
example,
that's good editing, Dave.
and
That's good editing right there. Let's cut that out. Cheering myself on here. For my daytime job, when I get one of these people in who's trying to make my life easier, I tell them no. Don't bother. See the door over there? That's where you can take your stuff. Get the hell out. Shell Ashley, how are you? All right, let's do number 2 here. See if we got some issues here now. Dave, have you ever had anyone on the show and then quickly realized they were a grifter? Couple. There was a guy who wanted to sell his homemade staffs that he was creating for like $2,900. It was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. Get your thoughts, but we're astrology because
3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0. The 3, 2, 1.
Oh, shut up, you moron! Your commercial's freaking terrible. There's one done. Hold on. Phones, because of the social media, especially one of the mining have
Came out of just as an idea and the interest on game pros, yeah,
Good part
or
about
the
it is
grass.
kind of Google to go spin touch.
Amazing experience. It's pretty commercial.
But
One of my students is
he's digging a go out. I mean, you look.
she's in me some deep, and she booked a reading with me.
3, 2, 1.
Shut up. How about that? Right there. Should be number 2.
Using the name Stony.
I'll give you
way.
true.
I'm not being born in May.
It's very true. So it did. I was the one who
Too.
the met in
Super important.
the after this. I think I have, and I want to explain that whole grift thing. Okay, I think the whole idea of grifting is a little ridiculous. I don't think that there is as many people grifting as what it's portrayed to be. I don't think Lou Elizondo is a grifter. I don't think David Grush is a grifter. Are they going to cash in on book deals or whatever? Sure they are. Okay. But one of the things that I have an issue about it is, okay, if we put it in a more sensical term, if somebody came up to you and said, let's say you love baseball and you play in the local baseball league, okay, in your town, and somebody from, pick a team, Milwaukee Brewers, comes up to you and says, hey, I want to sign you to a 5-year, $25 million contract. Are you taking it? Is that grifting? Because according to the UFO world, that's grifting. According to the UFO world and the psychic world and the paranormal world, you're not allowed to make money doing things off of what you love. So what's the difference?
One or so tour. Oh, he had been
bear
like
with me, hiding that on us. Little
mean, and the astrology I was saying, and I are not said that doctor is writing. It just comes
out about 9, and when I know a lot of faith,
every week, and it was a couple of different.
It's still in this,
and
in for the next. Holy crap, Human Carl! I didn't know. So no, I have it. Look, I mean, there's people who accuse me of grifting. I make no bones about it. Spaced Out Radio is a business. My radio show is a business. Okay. You take somebody like Corey Good or David Wilcock. Okay. Are they grifting or are they taking advantage of people? Okay. Or are they doing legit work that many people feel that they are doing. Now, I'm personally not a fan of theirs. Personally, not at all. But, okay, I think they've been caught in enough tethers to know what the truth is and what the truth is not. Okay. But I don't know what grifting is. We have developed an idea where we could throw these labels on everything now. Okay, grifting is the new one. You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Pardon me. Hold on one second here, guys.
Pretty general, but things, if somebody like to be with to ask Richard resonates, then it's mentioned
coming in pitch black.
Right.
Oh, of course.
Paisley, what just
he's about?
And it's right in front of you without release.
We're good now. I have no problem with people making money off of things that they love to do. Guys, I'll be honest with you. Like, if I was still working in sports and an NHL team came up to me and said, "Hey, we want you to join our scouting staff or our coaching staff," I'd be right there. Is that grifting? Or is that like I just don't understand why we're not allowed to make money off of things that we love. Okay. So yeah, but Derek, that's 90% of the YouTube channels. We aren't doing it for the money, but send us super chats. Send us by the way, here's my PayPal account. Here's my Cash App. Buy me a coffee. So I just think it's a real, like I said, I think it's a real dangerous road to go down. Okay. Because there's a lot of good people who are working in this field who get accused of a lot of things, grifting being one of them. And
they try to all spare change filter in the paranormal. See the Sasquatches then that you've now seen that's really going on around you.
Can people find you? Next to the Dave 101. We will be right back. Oh, getting back to that second point. There's been a couple people that I have graciously thrown off the air. Last one was a guy who yelled at me for asking him a question. Then I reminded him whose show it was, that he agreed to come on as a guest, and that's what happens when you get into these people who are so deep into the conspiracy theory world that they forget logical thinking. Then the guy, after not hearing from him for years, what, a year and a half, 2 years, all of a sudden earlier this year, he started showing up in our chat room, and he'd start in on the same crap again. And I'd be like, no proof. You're lying again. Let's stop that crap. He doesn't come in here anymore. Not blocked. Just doesn't come in here anymore. Black Dragon. Dave, have you ever have a spirit and alien experience combined? Yes. Happened this summer. And I can't go into detail right now. It may or may not be on video. What else? Hey, Robbie G, how you doing? Dino Bravo, what's happening? JSCO. Any other questions, guys? Good prayer request. Chaley, how you doing? Question. Thank you, Dogman UK, and good morning to you, my Commonwealth friend. Who's on tomorrow night? The crypto guru, Ronald Murphy, tomorrow night. I'm doing great, thank you. I'm not in pain tonight. If you noticed, I'm not in pain. Who is your least favorite in chat? Probably Gildo. When he gets on one of his drunken stupors, and then he starts coming in under 14 different names. That's a pain in the butt. He goes by Gil when he's in his normal phase. So I just started calling him Gildo. Sometimes he drinks too much of Grandpa's cough syrup. What learning resources would you recommend for numerology? Oh, goodness. That was asked to Paisley, too. What's the name that she mentioned? Was it Doreen Virtue? Delsim? No. My buddy Phil. Hey, Parker, how you doing? Because the S is silent in French. Paisley Parker. See, if you went by Paisley Parker, I could totally answer that. Look at her. It's Pace Parker, Dave. You asshole. What are you doing getting my name wrong? All right. I'll say a big thank you tonight to Cat Chaser, Human Carl, and Simon, and Human Carl, and Lucy Bell, and T-Bone, and Simon, and Pascal, and Pascal, and Simon, Pascal, and T-Bone, and Abe Rock, and Human Carl, and Pascal, T-Bone, and Simon for the great super chats tonight. Very much appreciate the full love and support, everyone. Greatly appreciate it. And let's have a good time with the Guru tomorrow night. And I will be back tomorrow as well. See you then.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.